shoes I was wearing yesterday? Oh yeah. Yo, the shoes I was wearing yesterday, I had to throw them out. I had something. Alright, let's do it. Hey, how you doing?
Good, brother.
Good to see you.
Good, man.
Check, check. Hello everybody, welcome. This is Nico from Minneapolis Riot. We are live here in Northeast Minneapolis as you see a crowd in front of the Minneapolis Police Federation Union building. That's it, boarded up in the background. You see the signs, get rid of Bob Kroll. Maybe not ACAB, but definitely that one. You see that. Calling out racist school bus drivers, defund police. This one. A lot of signs out here. Again, we're here at Northeast Minneapolis. People are gathered for a rally called Bob Kroll Must Go. Solidarity Rally for Justice. A coalition of groups have organized this. The Racial Justice Network, Twin Cities Coalition for Justice for Jamar, a whole bunch of others, CARE, a whole bunch of others. Go check out the internet if you want to see exactly who. It's on Facebook. It's at least a few hundred out here right now. It's going to be a rally happening with some speakers in a moment. We'll see what they're doing up here with some blood. Okay, thank you.
What size you wear?
XL? XX? Okay.
Maybe it's the album you listen to in your car when you drive home late at night, really questioning every god, religion, violations. Maybe this is an entrance before you get to the river of heaven, before the deed, and no reason for you to like me. Maybe this your life, you just wanting to clean the boys. The day ain't really yours. It's really for Amy's tea and chicken.
So the crowd goes pretty far back. See, that is all boarded up. That's the Federation Union building.
No, actually, this is from this one's the TT at the legs of in the mac and the cheese. This one is full apology for all the calls on the screen.
I know it's still in the video.
Mr. Every day he got me, Mr. Letting me down, Mr.
Get you a clearer image just so you can see that this office is the police union office.
Where do you want it?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I don't see.
Oh man. You might share.
See a lot of the shirts. Bob Kkkroll must go. Bob Kroll is the president of the Minneapolis Police Federation. He was voted in by police officers in Minneapolis. His past is very checkered. He's been basically labeled as an ardent racist. He was part of a white supremacist motorcycle gang called City Heat. He's been involved in, I think, at least 3 shootings, and he said recently that none of them bothered him.
If you're along the fence here, could you please clear the fence? We need to move some of the cables here for the sound system. Again, if you're along the fence here, please clear the fence. Thank you.
He's been in many lawsuits as just doing some incredibly bad things. One specific instance, of which there's so many. One specific instance is him just kicking a biracial person and calling him a bunch of racist names. So that's just one of the instances. That's Bob Kroll. Bob Kroll is, again, the police union president, who Arredondo just said recently that he was going to stop the partnership with the police federation.
Our streets! 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 Whose government? Our government! Whose government? Our government! Whose government? Our government! Whose streets? Our streets! 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 All right, say his name. George Floyd. 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 Black lives. Black lives matter. 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 If George Floyd don't get it, shut it down. If George Floyd don't get it, shut it down. If we don't get it, shut it down. If George Floyd don't get it, shut it down. If we 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 don't get it, shut it down.
All right now. They keep asking when we're going to empty the streets. We're not emptying the streets. We're not going anywhere. We are just beginning our movement. We are just getting underway. We have awakened the entire world for justice. And Minnesota is going to lead that. And all of you who showed up here right now are part of that movement and part of the effort right now, because we are mad as hell and we are not going anywhere. If George don't get it, shut it down. If George don't get it, shut it down. If we don't get it, shut it down. If we don't get it, shut it down. All right now, we are here in front of the Minneapolis Police and Fire Union. And as you can see, Minnesota, folks here in Minneapolis are not going anywhere.
That's right.
And Bob Kroll and the rest of the Bob Krolls across this country, they need to know their days are over. There's a new America, and that America is going to be led by people, real people, who care about the safety, who care about each other. And we are no longer going to be in a police state. We are no longer going to be led by those who want to kill people, whether here in the United States, in our neighborhoods, in our streets, or across the world. And so, I want every one of you to know right now, if you're watching this, you should be here.
Listen!
And if we can't be here, there's things you can still do. But we are not emptying the streets. We are just beginning. And we are going to march, we're going to protest, and we're going to do every single thing in our power until we get justice by any means necessary. This is the moment that so many of us have been waiting for. It's a moment for true change. It's a moment that we demand for real change. No more watered down shit. No more fake policies. This country has been guilty of genocide. This country has been guilty of mass slavery. This country is guilty today of mass incarceration, as our brothers and sisters are there in prison right now because policymakers have criminalized black people in this country. And we say no more. We say no more. We want true change in this country. We can replace any building, we can't replace a human being. And I'm going to tell every single one of you right now in Minnesota, some of you have been burning. Some of you have been waiting for this moment. Well, the moment has just arrived, and we are going to demand change. Every single policy, every single government agency, every single system that has been oppressing black people in this country, we are coming for you. We are coming for you. We demand change. We demand change from the police. We demand change from the prosecutors. We demand change in the justice system. We demand change in the state system. We demand change in the county system. We demand change in the state system, the federal system, and in the entire United States of America. It is a new day in America. The people are taking the streets. We demand change by any means necessary.
Jelani Hussein, Executive Director of CARE, Council on American Islamic Relations.
Y'all can see Jelani is fired up, huh? Let's give him another hand. From the Council on American Islamic Relations. Thank you all for being out here today. You all know that we are standing here at the headquarters of the Minneapolis Police Federation, home of way too much evil, home of the workplace of Bob Kroll, and we are saying Bob Kroll must go. They might have told Peter to turn my sound up, please.
Turn the sound up.
Can the sound guys turn my sound up?
Yeah, all the way up, man.
So they might have tried to put up gates, but they cannot block the power of the people. I don't care if they put up barricades. I don't care if they send the National Guard. I don't care if they send Donald Trump's punk ass over here. They will not be able to stop the people. Period. Because we are tired of black bodies being treated like they're disposable in the state of Minnesota. We've been out here for over 5 years taking the streets and shutting shit down to get their attention. And it took the 3rd precinct burning. It took the city burning. It took looting. It took all kinds of things that they didn't expect. But we tried to warn their asses that the people were fed up and enough is enough. Now, we don't condone the things that have happened. We've been peaceful, but we also ain't mad about it. Because they should have listened when we were out here trying to tell them, showing up there at their Minnesota Nights policy meetings, knocking on their doors for justice, trying to get our elected officials to take action. But they simply did not care about black bodies, and now they want to do all these interviews and act like they care, but we can see right through their lies and their manipulations.
That's right.
They're just waiting for the public to stop paying attention to Minnesota. But all eyes are on Minnesota. And all eyes will remain on Minnesota until we seek justice. We are not stopping. We will keep taking to the streets. We will keep marching. making sure that Bob Kroll's raggedy ass is out of office as the head of the Bob Kroll is as racist as they come. And his evil has been allowed to fester within the Minneapolis Police Department. And rather than them trying to find a leader that actually reflected the values of this city, they found a leader that reflects the values of police brutality, police misconduct, police abuse, police shootings, police murder, who's calling killer cops heroes. That's absolutely ridiculous. We don't stand for that. And rather than a rank and file trying to take a knee for photo ops, they need to be putting their knee on the neck of Bob Kroll and telling him to get the hell out as the president of the Minneapolis Police Federation. Because we're not scared of Bob Kroll. Bob Kroll tries to take on people who are defenseless, including a 15-year-old biracial boy that he assaulted out in the streets. He better be damn glad that wasn't my son. Because Bob Kroll would have gotten his ass kicked by a black woman on fire for justice. Period. Let him take off that badge and that gun and that baton and them tasers so we can go toe-to-toe. Okay? And stop having him sitting here abusing innocent people and vulnerable people. We're not going to take it anymore. Say, hell no, we won't take it no more. Say, hell no, we won't take it no more. Bob Kroll must go. 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 And if Bob Kroll will not resign, then right now we call on Mayor Jacob Fry, who is now trying to gain political favor when he hasn't done a damn thing for the 2 or 3 years that he's been in office to address police accountability. So if he really wants to man up and show that he has the balls to do something, then fire Bob Kroll. Repeat after me. Fire Bob Kroll. 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 And here's the other thing that we want. We want Wells Fargo to take responsibility for hiring Bob Kroll as an off-duty officer for many years, knowing that he had a violent record, knowing that he's been involved in at least 3 police shootings, at least 7 lawsuits, dozens of excessive force complaints. So Wells Fargo needs to apologize to the public for having a murderous cop on their payroll and putting the public in danger. And they also need to make reparations to the black community. So one action item, in addition to calling the mayor and demanding that he fire Bob Kroll, because there's more than enough evidence in his file that Bob Kroll is a liability to the city of Minneapolis, that he's violated many policies, he's gotten away with it, but again, today we say enough is enough. Right. So you call the mayor and you demand that Bob Kroll be fired, and then you call the corporate office of Wells Fargo and you tell them we want a public apology and we want reparations for the black community. We're not going to keep supporting these companies that support killer cops. Nope. We have to hold them accountable because they're part of this system too.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. So with all of that, I want to pass the microphone to the next person, but I want to thank you guys for being out here today. Everybody who volunteered to make this happen, everybody who showed up on a Friday afternoon to send a message at the city, the state, and the federal level that we will continue to stand for justice. Is Miss Kimberly Handy Jones. Kimberly comes here from Chicago all the time. And the sad part of the situation is that she has to come to Minnesota because this is where her son took his last breath because of the murderous St. Paul Police Department who killed her son on March 15th, 2017. And let me tell you, Kimberly Handy Jones, like you said, the National Guard ain't got nothing on Kimberly Handy Jones. Because she's fired up, she can't take it no more, she's mad as hell, and she's standing in solidarity with the people. Let's welcome her.
Give it to him. Let it think like peanut butter.
Good afternoon. I don't fucking hear y'all. Good afternoon. But see, that's the way we should be. Meeting and greeting one another. I ain't the fucking police. Fuck the police. Bob Kroll, bitch ass Bob Kroll, we on the road. Bob Kroll, we on the road. We gonna roll your ass right on up out of there. That's what we gonna do. We gonna roll them right on out. This bitch ass continuously keep putting these murderous ass police out here. But can't none come from a fucking murder but a murder. He's a murderous motherfucker and then he continue to put his little junior mob murderers out here on the street. I was talking to my brother Tom Mosley III last week and we were just talking about how it was blood on all of their hands. And he said, wow. He said, we standing in a pool of blood. I said, that's all right, little brother, because we're going to swim our motherfucking way to justice. And we're going to stop. We're going to swim our way to justice by any means necessary. And as I sit back and I reflect, and I was thinking about the turnouts here and how we all are coming together and standing as one, every race, color, and creed. I want you all to be clear. See, because I know who I am, what I am, and whose I am.
That's right.
I want you to be clear about this fight. Now, if you have any thing in your mind that says, hey, you know what, I want to jump off, do that now. Do that now. Don't waste my motherfucking time. I'm talking from Chicago. I don't have fucking damn time to waste. So if you feel like you want to jump off, do that now. Quit wasting our time. We ain't got no time to waste because there's a black woman who lost a child and continuously seeing her black brothers, sisters, and loved ones being executed by Minnesota, deadly state, police. If you ain't in it to win it and this is not what you want to do, let's be real clear. Let's be clear as a crystal ball. I want clarity. I want transparency. Then leave. Leave. I don't see nobody the motherfucker walking away, okay? And remember, I remember faces, I remember dates, I remember time, I remember people. My mind is like an elephant's. I remember shit. Don't get it twisted and don't get it fucked up. I lost my son. I ain't lose my motherfucking mind. That's right. It's still with me. Now it's time to stand on Bob Kroll motherfucking damn neck. It's time to stand on that motherfucking neck. Until he starts talking in tongues. And what we want to hear is, I'ma go. I'ma go. I'm leaving. But here's the choice. He can stand there and put up a fight. But either way, he leaving. You can't fight the power of the people. Your bitch ass, you gotta go, bitch. That's right. You gotta go, bitch. Bitch, motherfucker, gotta go. And all this murderous ass, bitch ass, motherfucking damn boys in blue. I smell bitches. I smell bitches. And then he sits there and he talks about the murders of our children with a fucking smile on his face. Well, motherfucker, we the Grim Reaper. We are the Grim Reaper. Don't get motherfucking shit twisted.
That's right.
Our boots is on the ground. And we gonna keep them laid down, even if we have to put them on your bitch ass neck, your bitch ass ass. Your bitch ass is leaving. You gotta go. While he's standing up there with Trump bitch ass at the rally. I seen them motherfuckers. Trump bitch ass sitting up there. Peach looking motherfucker, I can't stand him.
He's gone too.
I can't stand, you know something wrong with a motherfucker's orange. I ain't never seen an orange motherfucker before. He would be the first. But see, that was God's way of letting us know something ain't right about this man. Look at the color of his skin, something ain't right about him. I see lots of black people. Every different shade, beautiful shades.
That's right.
I see them all.
We out here.
But I ain't never seen an orange motherfucker. He would be the first. And Bob Kroll sitting his bitch ass up there like I got you.
Right,
well, you know what? Most bitches do have most bitches. All Trump was doing to your bitch ass was pimping you out. Oh. Motherfucker. Because if you can be bought, you can be sold. That's what most hoes do. Bought and sold hoes. And then these hoes go to the next highest step. Yeah. We see you, your asshole is big. We see you, oh. We see right through you. I don't give a fuck what I say. I don't care what I say and who the fuck I say it to. I dare motherfucker step to me, cause this little bastard one gonna get you up off her. She gonna put you up off her. I call a thing a thing. They've been calling my people names for 400 years. Ain't thought nothing of it.
Big Daddy.
Nothing. Well, them the real motherfucking damn niggas.
There you go.
Kroll, he's a real nigga. Cause I want you to know, white people got it fucking twisted. Nigga is not a color, it is a character. He's an ignorant motherfucker. Let's be clear. He's an ignorant motherfucker. And anytime you see a motherfucker with a gap between their teeth this damn wide, you know they a liar. You know they a liar. I'm sick and tired of him. He sits there with this old stupid grin on his face. What the fuck you laughing at? What are you grinning at?
That's right.
See, you dig a ditch for one, you might as well dig a ditch for two. The one you digging for me and the one you digging for you. Motherfucker, I can promise you, you gonna fall in first. I ain't going nowhere. I ain't going nowhere. I'm just taking a good look. I ain't gonna be long. I'm just taking a good look. You got kids? Yeah.
No, but I'm a teacher.
Baby, I'm fighting for you.
Listen!
Put it in our kids. Put it in our kids. Stop teaching our kids about Columbus and Columbus that motherfucking thief. My mama wouldn't even send me to school on Columbus Day. The motherfucker stole America. He ain't discovered shit. Teach our kids the truth. They need to know the truth. How many white people out here got kids?
They couldn't hear you say it again.
How many white people out here got kids? Raise your hand.
Right here.
How many of you love them? How many of them would lay down their lives for their children? How many of them? Well, you better act like Cordell Handy was yours, George Floyd was yours, Jamar Clark, Steele Marcus Golden, Bill Quinn, Michael Kkkroll. You better be willing to lay down your life. You better be willing to lay it all on the motherfucking damn life. Because if not, stay your motherfucking ass at home. I told you yesterday. Either you gonna roll with us or we gonna roll right the fuck over you. But we gotta keep rolling, people. We gotta keep rolling. I'm tired of people going home, having comfortable conversation. I don't get to have that with my kids.
That's right.
They brother missing.
Yes.
Now while you got yours, you can either stand up, fight back, keep them damn boots on the ground. Don't come running to me after the tragedy didn't happen, because see, I already know my circumstance. But you know what? I've been knowing my circumstance. My circumstance didn't happen March 15, 2017 when they killed my son. It was happening the day I was born. My mother carried me in her womb with that circumstance. As her mother did her, my grandmother did her. We were born with the circumstance. I don't want you at my damn table come March when we do the Cordell Quinn Handy Memorial Banquet. I'd like for you to be in the audience. But you have a chance to make a difference. You have a chance to do the inevitable. You have a chance to fight. And I see white women and I've seen white men that will come back and forth, and they're consistent. But I ain't never seen this many. This is fucking mind-blowing. And one thing, George Floyd had to be the sacrificial lamb to make change. I am so grateful to know that I see the change that it took the killing of George Floyd, the kneeling on his neck to make change for the world to see. Black people ain't been lying.
That's right.
They've been telling y'all the truth.
That's right.
They've been telling y'all the truth. You all just didn't want to hear it.
Listen!
You all didn't want to believe us. But yet our kids were steadily and constantly dying. And some of you all, don't raise your hand because you might get cursed out. I'm just going to be straight up with you. Voted for Bob Kroll, bitch ass, and Jacob Fry. A lot of you all put Jacob Fry in office.
Yes, they did.
A lot of you all did. Don't raise your motherfucking hand because you will get cursed the fuck out. I'm just letting you know. Straight up. He was a ball and a soul bitch too. But see, he bought the American dream. See, that, oh yeah, you can bring change. You can make changes. You could do this. And he was sold on a fucking nightmare. Nakima Levy Armstrong should have had that seat. About the community, about the cities, about the people. Who's out here fighting, tooth and nail, boots constantly on the ground. Hell, I can't even have a 2-second conversation with her. Nakima, the fucking phone ringing. Oh, now y'all see that. I don't know what the fuck you all were looking for. You know what? You said that they weren't looking, but you all were looking. You just couldn't see a black, strong woman in that seat. You just couldn't. You couldn't even fathom that in your own motherfucking damn heads. And now your own motherfucking damn boy fucking y'all with a dry dick. Yeah, I said it. I said it. Yeah, fuck, I said it. And I'm unapologetic for what the fuck I say. Cause ain't nobody out here lost nothing. I lost the kid. Now the next time you want to trip up on something, pack your motherfucking damn luggage. Don't ever trip without packing your motherfucking luggage. Y'all wasn't ready.
That's right.
Yeah, that's that pain.
Do the fucking homework. Pack your damn luggage. Then go around the motherfucking damn world.
That's right.
Until then, this is some bullshit.
Yes.
And don't be looking at me like I'm like you motherfucking appalled. You never know what might come out my mouth. You appalled. You ain't seen or heard shit yet. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. I didn't come from Chicago 5.5 hours because I had shit to tell y'all motherfucking damn asses. And guess what? When I get done going in on you, I still love you. I still love you. God says I have to love you. You ain't gonna be the reason why I can't get to heaven.
That's right.
I ain't gonna let you stand in the way of that golden gate because they tell me it's beautiful up there. Now I don't know if I'm gonna see some of y'all there, but I hope to see all of y'all there because we gotta get right.
That's right.
We gotta get right.
That's right.
Now if you want to see change, You better get with the people that can give you some change. But not only changes, because we need a lot of that.
That's right.
Y'all should have had this woman back. Now you want her expertise, her opinion. Y'all want an opinion? You listen in, look at me straight in my eye. You a news reporter?
No.
What do you do?
I do consulting for social enterprises.
But you got that microphone there, so you better have it right when you go to court, Kimberly. Y'all better have it right. I'm not playing. But you all had the girl. You had the black pearl. You had the queen.
That's right. To hold you down.
She had it all in the palm of her hand. And you know one thing that I know? If I want what's just and what's going to be right, for my community, I want the people that's out there doing that motherfucking groundwork, they boots laced up there on the ground. She knew about the community. She knew about the inequalities and injustices to the people, not just black people, but to the poor. She knew about gentrification. She knew about policing, excessive force.
Told you.
She also knew about criminalization.
Told you.
Oh, hell yeah. Hashtag free Myron Burrell. Amy Klobuchar, bitch.
Tried to
You better
told
get
you.
it right.
Tried to told you.
You better get it
Tried to
right.
told
Free
you.
Myron Burrell. Amy, I call her Robert Chop. This motherfucker done robbed this man of 18 years. He'll never get it back.
That's right.
Tried to told you.
But these women, men are the type of people you vote for. Ones who know the community, who knows the condition of the people. Not somebody that, hey, all you can hear is change rattling in their pocket. They're about change. About change. I want somebody that's about changes. We need changes.
Listen.
And she also knows what it is to be a black woman. What it is to have and have not.
Come on.
What it is to raise kids. So, you know something? Her kids are no different than yours or I. She give it to them in a raw. Let me tell you, she speaks the truth to them.
Come on.
We have to. We're not in a world where we can just push back and say, oh, well, they don't need to know about racism. They were born into it. You can't give it to your kids soon enough. Hell, when they got to snatch your man out the womb, I was like, yeah, okay, let me just tell you. This is how it is. And that's our reality. White people sitting at home sipping on tea, that's their reality. But the teaching our children about how the world works as a black young man and woman, that's our reality.
That's right.
See, that's our tea all day, every day.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna get off this phone. I'm praying and I'm hoping that she will run again for mayor. She keeps saying that, but you never know what God has for her. You never know what her calling may be. Hell, I might even governor, president. Let's go. And look, when I come, I stay with her. Could y'all see Kimberly Andy Jones with a cup of coffee, standing on the balcony talking shit about Trump, bitch ass? That would be me when I visit. And this woman right here, come on in here. Come on. You know, I love her.
I love you too. I love you more.
When my son case was closed, this lady fought, did the work, and got my son's case back open. Yeah. Another face, Michelle Gross. I've never seen her turn a person around, not help a person. She didn't give a fuck about me being a black woman. She just knew I needed justice. And people say they want justice and not just us. Well, damn, it's enough of just us to get this motherfucking justice. Now, we need to do this. We need to do this. And remember, it don't matter if we standing in blood. We just gonna keep on swimming our way to justice.
Yeah.
We're gonna swim our way past it. And then we're gonna reach out to different states. And we all gonna join hands.
That's right.
And we all gonna do the right thing.
That's right.
But you all, we have to stick and stay. And if this is what we say we're going to do, then we need to be really clear about what it is we're doing.
That's right.
I don't want you all veering left and veering right. If you're going with the power of the people, stay with the power of the people.
Yes.
And not stay your asses at home. Don't waste my motherfucking damn time. Don't waste our time. Because I know you all probably saying, no, I didn't just come here when George Floyd got killed. I came and I stood with a lot of families that were gone before George Floyd. So for me, it's not about the platform. I can get less than a damn about the platform. For me, it's about the truth.
Come on.
All right, come on, huh?
For me, it's about the killings.
Stand on it.
For me, it is about my people.
Tell them.
Right.
For me, it's about my boots on the ground.
Right.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And let me just tell you, you gotta be all right to switch your shoes. You got to be all right with lacing up.
Yes. Yeah.
Because you don't know. Today it might be our fight, but a second from now it could very well be yours. And look around. I want everybody, before I get off this microphone, let's just look around. Look around, everybody. Let's look around. I said a second from now could be your fight. Look at all the people you would have fighting with you.
Yeah.
And remember, we want Kroll bitch ass out of there. Ass. Mike Freeman bitch ass with his drunkard ass. We want him gone. And we want Jacob Fry ass up out of there, because see, as far as I'm concerned, he was crying before he even took that motherfucking damn seat, because you didn't know what the fuck you were getting into. He been crying a long motherfucking time. It's time for us to throw his bitch ass about the city. He done. He done. And the city council.
Yes.
Get your motherfucking asses up out of there too, but we'll roll y'all bitch asses up out of there by your motherfucking damn shoestrings, because you don't wear boots. So we'll roll you up out of there by your shoestrings. And last and the least, this sick, sadistic motherfucker who's impotently running the world from a tweet. He a fucking keyboard warrior. A fucking keyboard warrior. His bitch ass ain't gonna throw rice at a wedding, a bitch motherfucker. Now let's get it. Boots, boots, boots on the ground. We're here to shut this shit down. Boots, boots, boots on the ground. We're here to shut this shit down. Boots, come on, down. Boots on the ground. We're here to shut this shit down. Now, look, I want y'all to say this, and I want you to be loud. I want you to act like y'all stepping on all this trash and rubbish we trying to clean up out these offices. Now say it loud. Boots! Boots! Boots on the ground! Yeah! We're here to shut this shit down! Boots! Yeah! Boots! Boots on the ground! We're here to shut this shit down! Boots! Boots on the ground! We're here to shut this shit down! And remember, people, God loves you and so do I, and we're gonna shut this shit down by any means necessary.
Kimberly Handy Jones
Let's give it up again for
from
Miss
Waukegan,
Kimberly
Illinois.
Handy Jones.
Her son Cordell was killed by St. Paul police 3 years ago.
And you guys see, this is not a Minnesota Nice rally, and that's on purpose. We're letting people speak their truth unapologetically and boldly, because we're tired of people being nice, sitting in rooms and not delivering justice. So people can say what they need to say. She has the right to speak her truth, because her son's life was taken in the state of Minnesota, and she has still not received justice. Let's give her another hand for her courage, her strength, her boldness, and every word that she spoke, every word. So before I call up our next speaker, I want to let people know that there is a current campaign to recall one of the people who is at the center of extreme injustice in the state of Minnesota, and that is Hennepin County Attorney Mike Freeman. So there is a recall petition. So if you have not signed the recall petition, go over near the white truck. There are 3 people there who can take your signature. So make sure you do it before you leave today, because we are going to recall Mike Freeman from office. It's time for him to go too. That's right. Like Kimberly said, it's time to clean up the trash. That's right. And anybody who has a problem with the language that we speak, with dropping expletives, I frankly don't give a damn. That's just the problem. I don't. Because all the blood that's been shed, people are more upset about profanity than black lives being treated like they're disposable. What kind of nonsense is that? Please. We need to speak our truth boldly and unapologetically. That's right. So with that, I want to call up our next speaker, Marquise Armstrong, my husband, soldier in the struggle, who's going to speak his truth. Hey. Let's give it up for Marquise.
You know, it's not about me, y'all. It's about all of us, right?
That's right.
I have a message of hope. I am so hopeful as I look around this crowd and I see this multi-ethnic, multicultural, men and women of all ages standing in unity.
That's right.
I want y'all to know what that is. If you don't know what that is, this is love, y'all.
Come on now.
What we are fighting against is hate. You don't fight hate with hate. You fight hate with love. Love is way more powerful force than hate, y'all. I want you to know, I want you to feel the anger that you feel inside of yourself. Don't just let it pass you by.
Come on in.
Because that's our fuel, y'all.
Come on in.
And when we tap into our love and channel that energy into love, we will change the world.
Yes, sir.
My sister Kim Handy Jones, y'all heard her pain coming out of her.
That's right. Yeah.
Them expletives, them 4-letter words, them fuckers and motherfuckers and bitches and all of the words that she used were righteous.
Yes, they are. That's right.
Because the individuals who are perpetrating the trauma, the pain, the death on us, that is how they are behaving.
That's right.
And we need to start calling a spade when we see it. Look, when black people are under attack, what do we do? I don't believe y'all. When black people are under attack, what do we do? Look, Africa is the cradle of civilization, if you did not know that. So each and every one of us come from Mother Africa. I got an African man to my left whom I respect, Jelani. And I'm so glad, brother, that you are here in this service. You want to know the truth? We are all of African descent.
Yes.
So what we are seeing right now is the coming together of the original man.
That's right.
I don't hear no clapping on that. So I'm going to say, when our brothers and sisters are under attack, what do we do? Stand up like that! That's right. Again, y'all, this is love. I want y'all to look around. Check out the people to your right and to your left, to your front and to your back. These are the people who are going to stand with you. These are the people that are riding for the righteous cause.
Come on now.
Look, this system that they call justice is not justice. How in the hell can you have a person like Chauvin who has killed 3 people on the damn police force? And it be justice. It is not possible. Damn this country's justice. We're looking for what's right.
Come on.
We're looking for what's right.
Come on. That's right.
We are standing on the right side of history, y'all. I want y'all to know that this is history. We are making Minnesota history. We are making history in the United States. We are standing up. We are fighting back. Say his name. George Floyd. Say his name. George Floyd. Say his name. George Floyd. Look.
Yes, sir.
I am so humbled by the women who I'm looking at right now, y'all. My wife, beautiful black woman, she told people to kiss her big black ass. I'm telling y'all, stand back. I'm gonna knock y'all out. That's my ass to kiss. I ain't playing. I'm trying. Look. Michelle Gross, y'all. When she raised her fist up, it only came right here. But don't let her size fool you.
That's right, that's right.
She is a hell of a force, y'all. And she's been fighting this fight for 30 plus years. I know it's from your heart, but you deserve to be honored.
That's right.
Anika Bowie, where you at? Standing up, fighting back. Another sister, another powerhouse. Monique Curtis-Jones. Look. These women have been holding it down, right? Jess Sunday, where you at, Jess?
Yes, son, right here. Let's get it right there. Come on,
Jess.
Jess.
Another, look.
Say something.
She stands about the same height as Michelle. When we put them on each other, on top of each other, they call it a meet, right? That's what unity is like, y'all. Look, these women, I'm telling y'all, I've only been in this fight for 6 years. And I'm gonna tell y'all, when I joined it,
If you don't, you're missing something.
I was shocked when I got on the scene and I saw who it was leading and running and chanting and organizing. It was women. It was women of color. It was white women holding it down. And I said to myself, where are my brothers at? And I put a call out. And only a few showed up. But that didn't discourage these sisters. They have continued this fight.
That's right. Yeah.
They are stronger than a lot of men that call themselves men. Y'all hear me? I will put my back against theirs. Anything. The time is over for disrespecting,
That was a white mother.
for humiliating,
Thank you.
and killing our women as well, y'all.
For speaking.
That shit has to stop. We must protect them. It is our duty to protect them.
Say it, bro.
I'm tired of that shit. Jess is gonna speak. Before I go, say his name! George Floyd! 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 Thank y'all for being here.
Let's give up again for Marquise Armstrong. Next, I'm going to call up Jess Sundin. She She's been in this battle for the last 5+ years, specifically fighting against police violence, but she's been fighting for workers' rights her whole life. Jess Dundon is a part of Twin Cities Coalition for Justice for Jamar. Let's give her a hand.
Thank you all. So good to be out here today. Whenever you all say George Floyd, I hear Jamar Clark. I hear Cordell Handy. I hear Marcus Golden, Brian Quinones, Isaac Aiden, Jafford Smith, Phil Quinn, Billy Hughes. I hear Breonna Taylor. I hear Ahmaud Arbery. I hear Tony McDade. We could do this day after day after day. We're here because we're fired up and we're not going to take it anymore. My neighborhood has been largely burned to the ground. And why has it been burned to the ground? Because people like Bob Kroll been running these streets free as jaybirds, while the people who have needs, the people who have pain, the people like you and me, and especially our Black, Indigenous, and other people of color brothers and sisters are ignored at every level of decision making in our society. We've been in the streets in the day, we've been in the streets at night, we've been in the city council chambers and the state house and the county commissioners chambers. We've been everywhere. The fact is, we've been everywhere and we ain't going nowhere, am I right? The murder of George Floyd has awakened a fire that cannot be put out with anything except real justice. Now, real justice means a lot of things to a lot of people, and I am not here to argue. You get your justice. Justice absolutely means the indictment, conviction of those killer cops. Not just George Floyd's killers, but Cordell's killers, and Jamar's killers, and Marcus's killers, and all the rest. Justice has to mean cleaning house. These racist cops like Bob Kroll, who is very popular in a stupid fucking federation, can't even have to go into those swear words. Look, the fact is, these guys have got to go. The mayor could have long since fired Bob Kroll. Chief could have done it too. City council tells us they can't do nothing until all of a sudden today they got a dream. Right. Well, I have a dream too. And I'm not against anyone else dreaming, but I am here to say it's time for us, you and me, the people that live in these communities, to take back control. You and me. DCC for J, Twin Cities Coalition for Justice. We've been out here since Jamar Clark, but a lot of us, just like me, have been out doing other things. A whole bunch of us are union members. And a lot of folks get real confused because Bob Kroll acts like he's a union guy. You're going to get to hear from a couple of sisters from AFSCME, which is one of the great unions in our state. They got the green flags and all the demonstrations. I was a member of AFSCME 3800, and we found labor for justice for Jamar Clark. Yes, because the labor, and Philando Castile was a Teamster. The fact is, the labor movement is to shoot itself in its foot if it ever tries to separate itself from the fight for justice. That's right. We have some amazing, powerful trade unionists who are not doing that. We need them to come forward. We need them to help lead this movement alongside us. We need them to help us hold these politicians accountable. The fact is, they do a lot of work to get some of them elected. But not the sisters you're about to hear from AFSCME. I'm hoping they heard me and they're making their way forward. They're behind you. Oh, hey, they're up here. They're right here. They got my back. They got my back, right? Look, I want to ask folks to find your space. Get in where you fit in. There is no shortage of work to do. That's right. Bob Kroll's got to go. Mike Freeman's got to go. Jacob Fry's got to go. And the MPD, as we know it, has got to go. Welcome, y'all.
medical workers with the University of Minnesota. I want to remind everyone that Kkkroll has labeled the Black Lives Matter organization and the movement as terrorists. And I think that the police that exists is what it's done. Terrorizing and killing black folks and brown folks and indigenous people for decades. We are tired of your violence and brutality. We are tired of you infringing our legal rights in our communities and our collective efforts to have a healthy society. You have failed us as law enforcement. You have failed the labor movement and unions.
That's right.
You continue to terrorize us as we come together and mourn those we lost in your hands. There is no place for this kind of savagery in our communities. We the people stand together and demand the police force ceases to exist as is. Furthermore, we the people demand that those in position that enable, justify, and protect these murderers need to answer to us. We have heard you say over and over again that you are in solidarity with us. We have heard you say this change is a long time coming and the time is now. Yet we have not seen a damn thing change. You are buying time so you can rationalize, justify, and implement your policies. You are buying time so you can rationalize and justify the evil of your policies and negligence to our communities. This is not just an outcry for justice, this is a demand for justice. This is the people standing up against the police and the system that applies you harm. Justice for Floyd, justice for everyone. Say his name. George Floyd. Say his name. George Floyd. I'd like to welcome my sister Shireen. Sisters and brothers, family, I'm so proud to be here today. I am a union president. I am a real union president. My name is Shireen Horzak. I'm going to take my mask off if that's okay.
That's all right. We wipe the mic down anyway.
My name is Shireen Horzak. I'm a clerical worker at the University of Minnesota. I've been a member of AFSCME for over 16 years now. I'm a fourth generation union family member. My great-grandfather and my grandfather were on strike in 1934, helping to make this city a union city. And I'll tell you what, as a real union president, I can tell you what a union contract is and what a union contract isn't, and what a union really is and what a union isn't. And what a union is fighting for justice and dignity on the job and fighting for justice and dignity in our communities. A union contract is about lifting people up. It is not about covering up racism and brutality. Now when we fight, I've negotiated our contracts with the University of Minnesota for the last 16 years. I've been on every round of collective bargaining, and I'll tell you what we've won. We've raised the minimum wage at the university to, it's now somewhere around $19 an hour. And part of our message with that is that we know that we need a living wage because we need to ensure that single moms or that moms do not get forced into abusive situations because they're trying to decide whether or not to feed their kids or live in their house. That's what a real union does. Our union has won 6 weeks of paid parental leave for all parents, regardless of whether they're a parent or not, because everybody deserves to stay home with their baby after they're born and give them a decent chance to start out. We won that for everybody at the union. Our union stood up and fought for trans rights on the job because we know that everyone deserves, once again, dignity on the job. What our union does not do is cover up for racism, make excuses for brutality, allow repression to take place. That is not a union, and it should never be what is done in the name of a union or a union contract. And what we have also done, but it's not just about our contract, we've also stood up for the working class at the University of Minnesota and all throughout the city and this country. So when COVID-19 hit, we demanded immediately that all workers be able to work from home because it's safer there, and we won those protections. We won the fact that everyone was working from home at the university and staying whole, including student workers, that they wanted to just kick off the job, right? Because we stood up for the workers and student workers there. We stood up when the university attempted to close, when they closed the general college, because we know that that's where working class and black students get their start at the university, and we fought against that. We have also, and this is a badge of honor, we have been standing up against police brutality for years. I think the first resolution that we passed was calling for justice for Terrence Franklin, and when we passed that, you know what happened? The Police Federation called our state council to tattle on us and say they should rein us in, but that didn't work because we continued to stand up for justice. And so when Trayvon Martin was murdered, we stood up for justice then and said we're standing with our community. When Jamar Clark was murdered, we stood up for justice then, and you know what happened? We got calls from the Police Federation, we got calls from a lot of people trying to shut us down, to scare us, to threaten us, to say we shouldn't be standing up, and we refuse to do so. We organized Labor for Justice for Jamar, as Jess said, and we're out in the streets saying that labor needs to stand with our communities. The St. Paul Police Federation issued a resolution denouncing our union, denouncing our local, for taking a stand. And you know what I say to that? That is a fucking badge of honor. Dr. Martin Luther King was assassinated supporting sanitation workers in Memphis who were fighting to join AFSCME. Right? They faced repression every day, and they held up signs saying, "I am a man." That strike was won after Dr. King died. Yes. And that is sacred to me. That is sacred to our union. And we need to stand up every day and fight against racial injustice. We need to stand up with our communities, and we will be here. And we say that no union member worth their salt should accept the fact that they're trying to use union contracts and collective bargaining that we have fought for decades in order to justify police repression. Our unions need to stand up with our communities and say, police brutality has to stop. Yes. Racism needs to stop, and we are going to be out here in the streets every day with all of you until we get justice.
Incarcerated person, and he works for the ACLU, boots on the ground, always holding it down for our community. Let's welcome him.
Thank you, Nakima. My name is Eli. I am eternally grateful and humbled to have ever met Nakima. I actually called her many moons ago when I was inside of prison, and I told her, I said, Nakima, I don't know how, I don't know when, but what I know is when I cross over the other side of this here wall, I'm going to be there, I'm going to rock with you, I'm going to stand with you. You know, whatever is going down, I'm going to be going down right there with you. And so I had the privilege and the opportunity many years, and so I'm grateful. I'm eternally grateful.
We going too.
Yes, we out here, and so I'm gonna be brief. I tapped Marquise on the shoulders, and I said, "Man, the energy is telling me for us to call it out." What did I say? Boots on the boots.
Say that shit.
I mean, it was pouring inside of me. As I was listening to Kim drop nothing but science from the mic. It was like boots on the ground. We're here to shut this shit down. And so I'm telling you, it was just coursing through me. Yes. Right? Why was it coursing through me? Because we are standing in the epicenter of a moment. A moment in time. A moment in which we have declared to the nation and to the world, we ain't going back. We ain't going back. That old world is dead. That old world is dead. We ain't going back. Our boots are on the ground. This is the dawn of our new era. Come on. Say new era. New era. Say new era. New era. New era. New era. New era. New era. We ain't going back. 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 I'm telling y'all right now. For anybody that was operating under any illusion, thinking that this was going to be yet another moment in time that was going to just pass over. Hell no. That somehow the energy in the boots that people see stomping on the ground here in Minnesota, in Texas, in California, in Spain, in Germany, in China, in Africa, that somehow this was going to be another blip in time, and that eventually things would right themselves and go back to the old world. Hell no! To the old world. Hell no! To the old world. Hell no! And they are sadly mistaken. Yeah. We ain't going back. Yeah. That stuff is dead. That's right. This is the dawn of a new era. And so as I was listening to Kim speak to us, she said, everybody, take a minute and look around. Come on. Yeah. And so I got to looking around. I got to looking at the boots that was on the ground. I got to looking around. She said, take a minute and pause. Speak to and look to your left and look to your right. Come on. This is why we ain't going back. Come on, say that. Yeah. I mean, can we not feel the electric charge in the air? Yeah! This is different, ain't it? Yeah! This is different, ain't it? Yeah! And so the clarion call that all officials need to understand, every last single one of them, very clearly, we're sending a clear message. Not just in Minnesota, not just in the Midwest, not just in the United States, it's the world. This is a worldwide movement. They have already said that this is one of the largest movements that they've seen. They've seen more boots on the ground. Boots. Boots on the ground! We're here to shut this shit down! And so they've already said they've seen more boots on the ground than at any time in world history. Yeah! We sat up there and had to watch that devil, that demon, put his knee on our brother's neck. Yeah. And the other one compress his chest. And the other one hold down his feet. And then the other one hold back the crowd. They're all guilty. So we had to sit here. Y'all. We had to watch a slow execution. 8 minutes and 46 seconds. a slow death, a torturous death. And you want to sit up here and ask us why? We're telling you that old world is dead.
That's right.
You want to seriously ask us why? We're very committed. We will continue to be very committed. We stand on the shoulders of very committed ancestors. We stand on the shoulders of organizers and activists who have built this movement over how long? Centuries. Definitely since we were leading the way. And so now we stand here in the epicenter with the eyes of the world on us. And we're letting all of our partners know, all the way around the world, in every last single city, in every last single state, in every last single nation, we are here. And and ain't nothing gonna remain the same. And I said it to the public defenders, didn't I? They thought that I was going to get there and give a nice, beautiful, flowery speech and be like, I'm so glad we are all comrades in this. No. I said, ain't nobody safe. Y'all ain't safe either.
That's right.
Because we looking at the whole system. The whole goddamn system is corrupt. Everybody is corrupt. And so that's what we're seeing. When they're asking what is different, we have a flat world in which the walls have come down. We got subject matter experts over here, they know policy. We got subject matter experts over here, they understand the contract, the police contract. We got experts that understand use of force, right? But now we have an opportunity where the world is flattened and the walls have come down and we're communicating with each other in ways that we never have before. This is the difference. We are committed to eradicating that old world. You got this world, say this world. This world. And then you got that world, say that world. That world. Now see, whatever's going on in this world can't happen in that world. That's right. There's no overlap there. Right, to get from this world to that world, you got to go through some fire, right? And it burns away anything from that world. And what we're saying is we're standing here in this world, and we said to hell with that world. We said we ain't going back to that world. That world is dead. That world is dead. We ain't going back. We ain't going back. And so before I go, I got to hear it one more time. And I'm going to hand it to Kim to do it. Can I get you to lead us just one more time?
You got me. All right, y'all better put some stank on this shit.
Let's get it.
Now let's get it. Boots! Boots! Boots on the ground! We're here! We're here! We're shutting the shit down! Boots! Boots! Come on! Boots on the ground! We're here! We're here! We shut the shit down! Shut the shit down! Boots on the ground! We're here! I don't know who's responsible for putting the names down on 38th in Chicago, but we are missing Marcus' golden name out there. Now his aunt, Monique, ain't gonna say nothing. She just gonna keep doing what she doing, and that's keeping her boots on the ground. But she was fighting for my son before they even executed him. Marcus' golden name needs to be put on the streets with other names. I don't know who's responsible for it or who's doing it. Let's just make it happen, people. Even if one of us have to go out there and do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Eli and Kimberly. Next, I'm going to call up Michelle Gross, who's been out here for over 25 years, holding the banner against police violence and calling for police accountability. She runs Communities United Against Police Brutality. Let's give it up for Michelle Gross.
Come on, Michelle. So, I got a question for you. What do you see when you see that over there? What do you see over there? Take a look. Tell me what you see.
Trash. Cowards.
Serial killers.
Criminals with a badge.
I'll tell you what I see. I see a damn cesspool. I see a rotten, dirty, nasty cesspool full of corruption.
I smell bitches.
Full of murder. Full of brutality. Full of lies. Full of abuse. Full of racism. Full of oppression. That's exactly what you see when you see that over there. By the way, I happen to notice, I think we shut the damn shit down. What do you think? I think our people on the ground shut the shit down. But I'm gonna tell you something. This ain't the only cesspool we got in our town. This is a nasty, rotten representation out here. But they're not the only one.
That's right.
Because we got another one downtown.
It's called the mayor's office.
We got another one right down there at City Hall. We got a whole bunch of people that like to talk, don't like to take action.
That's right.
Like it the way it is. Happy with the racism. Fine with the nasty, rotten stuff that Kroll does. They got no problems with it. How do we know that? Where's our proof?
Everywhere.
Our proof is what they haven't done.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is look around. What haven't they done? Some of us been in there. I was talking with Nikema about this earlier. Some of us got enough pictures of ourselves getting our asses dragged out of City Hall that we can make a damn photo album out of it. But that's because that's what they do, because they don't want to make changes.
That's right.
So then what do? After they look like the laughingstock of the country and worse,
That's right.
one of the worst places to be in terms of police, and they look so bad because they know they ain't been reining those cops in like they're supposed to. What do? They come out making promises they know they can't keep, and then it's going to take years if they ever could keep them. And that's their strategy too. They want to divide the movement, make themselves look like some kind of radicals that they've never been and never will be. And it's a big, bold-faced lie. Do not fall for it.
That's right.
Do not fall for it. It's a good plan to think about getting rid of the cops. It's a great plan to think about defunding the cops. Ain't nobody got a problem with that. We got to get rid of that rotten-ass institution.
That's right.
We got to defund them first, get rid of them. But before we go to all that, which will take some time because that stuff is hardwired in the charter.
Right.
Y'all know they can't just do that. It won't happen until 2021 or 2022 at the earliest, if they're serious about it.
Yep.
My guess is they're going to say, oh, let me see now. The people are not marching still. Maybe we can get away with just letting them slide.
That's that bullshit.
That's what they always think they're going to get this stuff, let it slide. Wait till the mood calms down, go back the way it was. That's what they always think. Let me tell you something. There's stuff that can happen right now.
Yeah.
Stuff that we could be doing right now to shut down this foolishness.
That's right.
We don't need to wait till 2021 and the next George Floyd. We don't need to wait for another person to get killed in this town.
That's right.
We don't want to. So I'll say right now, asses in now. Don't wait. Don't wait for 2021, 2022, whatever all that is. We got stuff we can be doing right now. You want to know what to do? Go right to the CUAPB webpage, look right on the front page. We got a report with 44 things that their asses could be doing right now.
Yeah.
And the reason we got so many of them because they never did them before. It's a long damn list because they made it a long list. You know, I saw them up there whining and crying about buildings that burned down and broken windows. You heard it too. You heard it. Now look, we don't want to see our businesses, messed up and all that stuff. But we can't say this person did it, that person. They go run around and try to investigate who did what, whatever. All they got to do is look in the damn mirror. You know who did it? They did it. They did it by creating a climate that allowed George Floyd to be murdered in cold blood right in our faces. With that slug asshole smiling at the camera while he did it. People are begging him to get off of his neck, and he's digging it in harder.
That's all I know.
And they created the conditions that make a guy like that think he can get away with it.
That's right. There you go. There you go.
They created those things. They need not go any further than look in the mirror of their own selves. Mr. White and crying mayor, with your crocodile tears.
Thank you.
You so need to cry. for what you've done. You so need to own what you've done, and you need to confess. And let me tell you something. Your ass need to be out next time, and guess who needs to be in? There will be some police accountability for our facts. So I'm just telling you now. I love what Kim said. Please don't be a one and done. We have much hard work to do together with parents. And you know, I'm going to tell you, I'll never lie to you. I love my organization, but I don't even care which one you join. I love my group, of course I do. But I don't care which group you join. Just get involved.
That's right.
That's right. You know, get in where you fit in. Join the movement. Stay engaged. Don't just come out here and say, I did my bit. This is one piece. Protests are about awareness and pressure. That's right. Once you build the awareness and pressure, what is it for? Then that's when you get back and you start working on everything else. So I invite you to be part of that process. You know, it's not a few of us sitting in the back room writing reports all night long like I've been doing, staying up all night, getting no sleep and whatnot. That ain't what this is about. This is about everybody needs to be part of this. Here on the ground and back in the meetings where we all get our work done. We cannot let these fools think that they're going to get away with recreating the conditions that allowed Mr. Floyd to be murdered. We're not going to let them think that they can go backward. You know? Eli said it great. That's their old world. We're on our way to a new world. That's right. Thank you so much. See you in the streets, see you in the meetings, see you in the trenches, see you everywhere.
All right, let's give a shout another round of applause. Next up, I'm going to bring Tucson Morrison. He's an actor. He's been using his voice to speak truth to power, participating in protests, and dropping knowledge like it's hot. Let's give it up for Tucson Morrison.
Come on.
I want y'all to give it up for Nakima and all the people that put this together. Can I hear you say thank you? Say thank you. Say thank you. I was born in New Orleans, and I was raised here. In New Orleans, they wave Confederate flags, and you can have a conversation about that. But here, they keep them in their pockets, and they don't want to talk about it. They want to ask, why is Minneapolis the bed of all the unrest, the bed of the revolution, the bed of a worldwide protest? Why is Minneapolis that? And a lot of you are out here because you're seeing your city for the first time and you don't like it. A lot of you are out here because you're seeing yourselves for the first time and you don't like it. Come on. Yes. I need you to keep that energy. Say, keep that energy. I say, keep that energy. This right here is shut down. Bob Kroll beat up a 15-year-old biracial boy in the 90s. Yes, he did. Bob Kroll rolls with the motorcycle club that dons Nazi symbols, white supremacy symbols. We know who he is. We know who he is. But the thing with Minnesota that we're really, really good at is not talking about it. The thing that we're really, really good at is not showing up. But you're showing up today because police can't hold you, barricades can't hold you, a semi-truck coming down the highway can't hold you, the National Guard can't hold you, and sure as shit, Bob Kroll can't hold you. You got here. And as Michelle Gross said, we need to hold everybody accountable. If somebody died on your job, they'd hold you accountable and you should be let go. I was at Powderhorn Park on Sunday. It was real nice. Could have sung Kumbaya. It was real, real lovely. But what I don't understand is why the president of the city council, Lisa Bender, is just showing up now to talk about black lives. I don't want to hear any more promises from the Sunshine City Council because they're not talking about our city. They're not talking about your city. She talks about bike lanes and shoveling sidewalks. She talks about bike lanes and shoveling sidewalks, and then when George Floyd happens, she wants to talk about Black Lives Matter. How convenient. I want to ask a question. What good are bike lanes if there's no black people alive to ride on them? What good are sidewalks being shoveled if there's no black people alive to walk on them? If you're gonna boo Jacob Fry, you gotta boo everybody. Everybody's complicit. Everybody. You watch a WCCO that's in bed with the well-known white supremacist. You read a Star Tribune that told Nakima to go represent LA somewhere else. When I say what is it, you say not enough. What is it? 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 Not enough. They're not doing their jobs, and we have to hold them accountable. You have to hold them accountable right now. And I want to speak to the white people in this audience. Come on. Because I've said it before, a lot of black and brown bodies are being tired of getting talked to. Come on. And I know Kim Handy does her job, but I want to speak to white people right now. Don't make this a day. Don't make this a moment. Don't make this a week. Don't make this a Black History Month. Don't make this a documentary. Don't make this a feel-good social problem. Don't make this a conversation. Make this your life. Make this your life. Because this could be your son. That's right. I walked away from my job, but I didn't have to lose a son. Come on. You didn't have to lose anybody to show up here, but you just need to know that you're showing up for people like Cardell Handy, Marcus Golden, Brian Quinones, Breonna Taylor. You're showing up for all the names. Yes. No justice. No peace. Prosecute the police. No justice. No peace. Prosecute the police. No justice. No peace. Prosecute the police. No justice. No peace. Prosecute the police! No justice, no peace! Prosecute the police! No justice, no peace! Prosecute the police! Thank you to the Kkkroll and everybody that's put this on for the time. Keep the work going. Our work is never done. It is never done. Keep it going. Thank you.
Let's give him another round of applause. Next, I'm going to call Jaylani back up. He wants to do a chant to incorporate the Somali people who live in this building right here to let them know they're a part of this movement. There are Somali brothers and sisters. And then Jaylani's going to introduce Muhammad. Then we'll have a couple more brief speakers, and then y'all ready to march? Yeah! I said, are y'all ready to march? Yeah! Take it away, Jaylani.
Thank you. So I want to tell you a story, the story that you don't hear. I came from Somalia. I was born in Somalia. All right. But my country was played with by the United States of America in the 1970s in the Cold War. They militarized my country and turned our neighboring Ethiopia country, our brothers and sisters, against each other in the Cold War. And until then, they continued to militarize our country and turn our people against each other to the point where we had a civil war in 1990. America came to my home and killed my brothers and sisters, and that is why I am here today. And as a black man in this country right now, I am in danger of being killed by the police. And I want you to know that's why we're here. We didn't choose to be here. America came to our homes and burned our homes and brought us here. So with all the Somalis that are here today, and all of you who came out, we know our chant. Don Dimeno! Don Dimeno! Alright, that means we reject. That's what it says. We reject. That is the voice of resistance from all over the world. And now I'd like to introduce another young activist, and now Director, Deputy Director of Care, Muhammad Ibrahim.
All right.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. In the name of the most merciful. We're going to start off by saying, if George don't get it, shut it down. 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 In the past couple of years, we noticed that we live in two Minnesotas.
Yeah.
One Minnesota that cares about bike lanes, and another Minnesota that's been killing black people.
Yeah.
We've been living in one Minnesota where 75% of its white folks can buy a home, and another Minnesota where only 25% can.
That's right. Listen.
We've been living in one Minnesota that tells everybody about its thousands of lakes, and another Minnesota that has a Minneapolis PD that continues to allow the extrajudicial murder of black people for generations.
That's right.
And I am here today to remind y'all of what Martin Luther King said.
Tell us.
He said that a policy cannot make a man love me, but a policy can make a man stop from lynching me.
Yeah.
And what we have seen on May 25th is the lynching of George Floyd.
That's right.
And that is on the hands of the Minneapolis PD. That is on the hands of Bob Kroll. That is on the hands of Mike Freeman. And we know that we have to clean house. We know that we have to worry about the housing problem that we have. We know that we have to worry about the education system. I come from the healthcare background. We know how the healthcare system treats our black brothers and sisters. We know how the system treats our black students. But we're here today to talk about the justice system. And before we can clean house, we must take out the trash. To the BS that Mike Freeman is on. We've seen the lies that he started out with the case of George Floyd. And now we are here standing in solidarity with boots on the ground to shut the shit down, right? Now everybody, I want to see your right fist up. Everybody fist up.
Yeah.
When I say we will, you say fight back. We will. Fight back. We will. Fight back. We will. Fight back. We will. Fight back. George don't get it. Shut it down. If George don't get it. Shut it down. If George don't get it. Shut it down. If George don't get it. Shut it down. Thank you.
Muhammad is on fire. I need this. Muhammad was on fire. Let's give him another hand. So next we're going to hear from an elder. This is our first time seeing him out here. We're glad that you're here.
Yeah.
He marched with King. He wants to drop some knowledge. He's been waiting patiently. He's going to introduce himself and drop some knowledge on us. Let's give him a hand.
Listen, I want to say something to you right now. Can I have a second for a minute? I want to bless this crowd and this march. As Dr. King in 1963, I marched.
Hold the mic closer to you.
Okay, I marched with Dr. King in 1963, and we went to jail. The dogs were sick, and can you imagine being there with him in person?
Yeah.
In 1965, in Chicago, when the Blackstone was dismantled, I was there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, tanks and everything.
Hold the mic up.
And in the marches, okay? Now, the thing that I wanted to say is the peace. Be peaceful, Dr. King of people. I want to ask you to look around. What do you think heaven looks like right now? Look around. Look around you.
Come on.
Who's next to you?
Everybody.
Look at the color. Look at the race.
Everybody.
Everybody.
This is what heaven looks like.
Yeah.
This is what heavens look like.
Come on.
This is what heaven looks like. It's not racism. It is togetherness. God is not prejudiced.
That's right.
God is not prejudiced.
That's right.
I'm going to tell you something. One of the things that touched me the most is about the gun violence now. This is it. To stand there and have people that come from Minnesota, Boston, back in the 1960s. I was born in 1952. I've been pulled up in slavery. I've seen more than you'll ever know. I can't go through. If I go through the things that I've been through, Russian roulette played with when I was 8 years old by sheriffs in district. People, my folks had to do bootlegging, but we had to survive. Right. I'm just trying to tell you, if I won't take the time to do that, but I want to tell you a thing about Dr. King. This is what, in 1968, he came to my county, in my home, in Marks, Mississippi. And the last place he cried before he got killed, in Memphis, he wanted to start a poor people's campaign.
Yes, he did.
Yes, it was in my hometown called the Mule Train.
Yeah.
You ever heard that? We hooked up with mules, teams, and buses, and was take the mules loose on the outside the city, entered all the black colleges and the intellectual places of black encouragement, and we carried it through because his dream was to do that. Yes. In the poorest county in the United States, okay? Yes. Now hold on. My brother said something about New Orleans. On the way New Orleans was the poorest county because of lynching. Sometimes we out-hung you and you out-hung us. So there was lynching was going on. You get the joke now, okay? All right, it was back then. If your state out-hung us, you out-hung us, you was the poorest county. Okay, you got it? But what I'm saying is, look here. It was a peaceful organization until we got there. Unity is one thing we have to stand for. That's right. But this is what I'm talking about right here. What does heaven look like? And look at it.
That's right.
Look at it. Y'all turn around, everybody. Just look at the next person next to you. Just look at them and see who's standing next to you. You don't know no nationality. You don't know who they are. But I tell you what, you are united. That's right. United we stand in volleyball. Forget the violence. Let's keep it peaceful. Because it is what it takes. Trump wants to start and stir you up. He's going down to Oklahoma. I've seen his kind before. Yeah. I've seen this kind. I've been fighting this thing 6 to 8 years. Yeah. 6 to 8 years. Pulled up in Vietnam, everywhere. Come on, world. Let's stay to it. If a heart is in the heart, if you don't fix the heart, surgery is necessary. You've got to cut out that prejudice. They need a new heart. A transplant is needed for this. Problem is in the heart. Racism and the Civil War will never be over. It will never be over. I've been fighting all my life. I can see it. You can see the trail that carries. All the forts, all the statues, they cling on it.
Tell him you talked to him over there the other day. Bob.
I spoke before. Yeah. I've been out here. I live right here. How can I not be here? I live right here.
Thank you.
I'm just saying, look around you. If you believe in there's a heaven and there's a God, this is what it looks like. Yeah! This is what it looks like. Thank you.
Let's give Robert Hayes another round of applause. Blessing the crowd, dropping knowledge, reminding us that this is what heaven looks like. We appreciate you, brother. Thank you for coming out here, sharing your story, fighting against death, persisting, being about justice. We love you, and we appreciate you, and we love about you every time. So before we get to our last speaker, I want to give this brother a minute to speak because he's been biking, y'all, for George Floyd, for justice for stolen lives. So I want to give him a moment to talk about his biking and what you've been doing.
My name is Adrian Ruben de los Rios, and I'm a first generation Latino ex. So, we heard a lot about, they just care about shoveling sidewalks. and bike lanes. But guess what? We don't need their bike lanes. We're going to take it over. So I have been biking for 18 hours, except I don't count all the protests and everything else, all the marches. So I have been biking for about 28 hours. I'm only counting that. And fundraising for... You've been biking for justice. Yeah, biking for justice. Justice. Okay, so we're biking for justice. I'm a little 28 hours up, and biking is a lot. Okay, that is. But we are gonna bike after the march. I got another 6 hours left. We are fundraising in behalf of Nikema and her team. When I first asked, Justice Network. Racial Justice Network. When I asked her team, can we put on a fundraiser on for you? Yeah. When is it? Next Thursday. I said I got 5 days to create a website. I have 5 days to do an app. I had everything done in 5 days. We had a good turnout yesterday. It was amazing. We're gonna put more fundraisers on for Black Lives Matter because we are following their leadership. And once they get heard, then everybody else will get heard. Okay? So we are a new organization called Peaceful People and Men on Facebook, as well as peacefulmn.org, where we're going to be doing a lot of fundraisers. We are just going to be the platform in which everybody speaks. We will be the shield, and they will be the sword of justice for everybody. Okay? And guess what? Like you said, Kim, you said you can't be half in. You know what? You got to be hungry. You got to be hungry for this change. You can't just go half in. You have to be all the way in. Okay? I drove 3 bikes yesterday. I wanted to give up. Oh, that was going to be enough. It was a valiant effort. But you know what? I went and got all those bike fixed, and I pushed myself. The whole time I'm going, I don't know how to do this. I'm cramping up. My legs hurt. I'm yelling in pain at 3 in the morning down the streets. But you know what? We won't rest until we win. Until we win. We will be fighting. They want to step in the ring with us. We will win. There is no doubt that we will win. Okay? Change is coming.
Fighting for 28 hours straight for justice with 6 more hours to go. Lisa Bennett can take some lessons from this brother. If you're going to put up bike lanes, bikes for Black lives. Let's give him another hand. So our last speaker before we march, I want to call up Ms. Marie Colors Doty. She's been on the front lines for years, pounding the pavement, shutting shit down, speaking the truth, standing up for justice, cussing out elected officials, dragging them when they lie. Let's give it up for Marie Colors Doty. Black Lives Matter Minnesota, Blue Lives Matter, justice for working folks.
Thank you all for the love. That's what keeps me going out here, so I appreciate and love each and every one of you. I want to talk about the importance to see this through until the end, because we cannot drop the ball. So I want to tell you what I saw and what I've seen happening here. When George Floyd was tackled to the ground, just in time, so it was a legal throw, he threw a Hail Mary pass into the sky.
Come on.
And that summoned the activists in this community to get up off the bench because we were resting from COVID and sitting down. And we got out on that field and we ran to catch that ball, not only for George Floyd, but for every person whose life has been stolen by the police. And while we were running down that field, we saw people joining us who we had never seen before. And we began to see protests in little small towns in Minnesota. And we began to see protesters with us from Detroit, from LA, from Dallas, from all across the United States. And we continued to run to catch that ball with the people across this nation. And then we looked over and we saw our neighbors from Canada. And then we saw our neighbors from South America. We saw the people in Africa. We saw the people in Asia. We saw the people in India and in China protesting and standing in solidarity with us, running on that field because it was too important that we catch that ball and that we not let the ball drop after George Floyd's death. It was too important. So we have to remember, we are not caught that ball in the end zone, standing on a pyramid of international and national solidarity. And when that third precinct burned, we had that ball in our hand. Come on. So now, we've got the video of the play, and it's the officials who want to review and look for charges and see what they can do. We need the elected official to put what we've done on the scoreboard because we won. We've already won. And we had to chase that ball through burning buildings, through looting, through riots, through arrests, through freeway marches and shutdowns, through rallies and various protests and other signs of solidarity. But we caught that ball, and we cannot let them tell us we did not. That's right. So we must make sure that we pressure the referees and the umpires, those who are in positions of power who should not be. We have to make sure that we fight for what we have already won. This game of life is too important to stop fighting, and the time is now. And when we wake up tomorrow, the time will still be now. And next week, the time will be now. And next month, the time will be now. We must see this fight through to the end. This is not a time for compromise, because we know what we need, and we need everything that we need. That's right. It's not an option. We cannot settle to be shortchanged. That's right. We have worked too hard to get to a point where we can just be on that field and even run to catch that ball. We already had a team in place. We had leaders. We had captains. We had equipment. We were out there. We knew what to do. And George Floyd gave us that opportunity. That's right. And that young woman who recorded that play. Darnella? Yes. God bless you. Absolutely. So we know what we've been through to get here. We know that we were chased by a truck on 35W. Right? You know we've had white supremacist threats. But we made it. We caught that ball for George and for every stolen line. So we got to make sure that we win this game of life and that we see it through to the end. No is not an option. No is never an option, and do not let anyone tell you no or turn you away or turn you around. That's right. It takes every one of us here to see this through, and we must continue to speak up and come out in numbers. And we must remember, when that trial comes, if George don't get it, shut it down. It'll be shut down. It'll be burnt down. It'll be more than what they ever saw before. People are angry, and we are in the streets, and we are not taking the BS anymore. That's right. We don't care about elected officials pandering, acting like they care about black lives, but they're not making the changes that are necessary. We are not stupid. We see right through you. That's right. Yep. So we must be moved out the way. That's right. Because justice is coming through, and we feel that way. So thank you. Keep shutting it down. Keep getting in the streets.
Ready to march. So we're going to be following this white truck. The marshals are going to start having people move out of the way, because the white truck is going to get in the front so that we can march that way. So people can begin moving out of the way, coming this way or going to the side, so we can make way for the white truck. As the truck is making its way through the lineup, I'm going to let Trey Hearn Cruz come on up and say a few words. Come on up, Trayhearn. And as Trayhearn is coming, one of the things I want to remind people of, after we finish this march, can I have your attention, guys? After we finish this march, I want to invite you all to Shiloh Temple on West Broadway in North Minneapolis. The Minneapolis NAACP is hosting a community memorial for George Floyd. It starts at 6 p.m. I know some of us are going to be there late, but if you are able to be there to join in solidarity with the community, Leslie Redmond, NAACP president, has invited us. So let's hear from Trayhearn Cruz as the white truck makes its way to the front so we can start the march.
Black lives! Black lives! Black lives! Black lives! This is a love movement. It was love that made, it was love for black lives that made the youth burn down the Dollar Tree. It was love for black lives that made our youth go into the liquor store and burn that down. It was love for black lives that made our youth go to the post office and burn that down. It was love for black lives that made our youth cause an arrest.
I need the mic. Take this.
It was love for black lives that made our youth stand up for justice and get an arrest and get the officers fired and get them charged. That's what love is about, and that's what this movement is about. It's about love. Yeah. That's right. We want to renegotiate the contract that the city of Minneapolis has with the Minneapolis Police Department. And we want all our union friends to know that unions were originally started with the Klan to keep black workers from working. And Bob Kroll and his union is following that same example. So we need all unions that are seriously progressive to fight for black lives. The biggest wage theft in history was slavery. The biggest, we didn't get sick and safe time. We didn't get treatment we've had employment discrimination is the highest in Minnesota. We have the worst disparities here in Minnesota. So we have the biggest racial wealth gap here in Minnesota, and it's due to white supremacy and institutional racism. So we need everybody to come together. Martin Luther King said when we get to Washington, we're going to be demanding our check. So that's what we're going to do next week at the Capitol and demand that Donald Trump pay full and complete reparations to the American descendants of slaves and demand that police forces around the United States stop killing us. Black lives! Black lives! Black lives! Black lives! Say his name! 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 Let's go!
We're going to have the truck pull up,
here
and then
in
we're going to follow the truck. We're going to follow the marshal. You see the people in the bright colored vest. They're going to come guide us, and we're going to take them home free. So right now,
King, can you give me another cold water?
all right?
Did it flood?
As the truck is moving, and then we have a couple of women that are going to ride on the back of the truck and lead
say fuck 12, okay? No justice, no peace. Prosecute the police. 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 No justice, no peace. Prosecute the police.
No justice, no peace. Prosecute the police. No justice, no peace. Prosecute the police. No justice, no peace. Prosecute the police. No justice, no peace. Prosecute the police. Justice, no peace. Prosecute the police. No justice, no peace. Prosecute the police. Justice, no peace. Prosecute the police. No justice, no peace. Prosecute the police. No justice, no peace. Prosecute the police. We need the banner to the front, the banner that we had. That had Bob's Kroll's blood on his hands. So you want to stop right here?
Marquise, can you pause right here?
Yeah. Let's get that banner. Let's get it in front of actually. Yeah, right here. There you go.
You want it in front of the truck?
Yep.
You want it in front of the truck or back here? All right, we ready?
I think yeah, perfect.
All right. Say his name! George Floyd! 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 Say his name! That's all my Floyd! Say his name! George Floyd! Say his name! George Floyd! Say his name! George Floyd!
Say his name. Yeah, let's go. Say his name. Say his name.
George Floyd!
Say his name.
George Floyd!
Say his name.
George Floyd!
Okay, we're live here in Minneapolis. This is Nico from Minneapolis Riot.
George Floyd!
Say his name.
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 George Floyd!
Whose streets?
Our streets!
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 streets?
Whose streets? Whose streets? Whose streets? Whose streets? Whose streets? Whose streets? Whose streets? Whose streets? Whose streets? Whose streets? No justice, no peace. Prosecute the police. 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 No justice, no peace.
Prosecute the police. No justice, no peace. Prosecute the police. No justice, no peace. Fuck you. Prosecute the police. Fuck you. Justice, no peace. Fuck you. Prosecute the police. Fuck you. Justice, no peace. Fuck you. Prosecute the police. Fuck you. Justice, no peace. Fuck you. Prosecute the police. No justice, no peace. 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 Prosecute the police. Black lives. 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 Native lives. Native lives. Native lives. Native lives. Native lives. Hmong lives. Hmong lives. Hmong lives. Hmong lives. Hmong lives. Latin lives. Latin lives. Latin lives. Latin lives. Trans lives. Trans lives. Trans lives. Trans lives. Disabled 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 lives. Youth 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 lives. Black 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 lives. Say his name. 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 Say
we're here to shut the shit down. Boots, boots, boots on the ground. We're here to shut the shit down. Boots, boots, boots on the ground. We're here to shut the shit down. Boots, boots, boots on the ground. We're here to shut the shit down.
Hard to gauge the amount, but there's at least 1,000 people, possibly a few thousand.
We're here to shut the shit down. Boots, boots, boots on the ground. We're here to shut the shit down. Boots, boots, boots on the ground. We're here to shut the shit down. Boots, boots, boots on the ground. We're here to shut the shit down. Whole streets, our streets, 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 whose streets, our streets, whose streets, our streets, whose streets, our streets, whose streets, our streets. Hey, hey, ho, ho, Kkkroll has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, Kkkroll has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, Kkkroll has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, Kkkroll has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, Kkkroll has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, Kkkroll has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, Kkkroll has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, Kkkroll has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, Kkkroll has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, Kkkroll has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho.
Crowd is now turning on Broadway, Northeast Broadway Street.
Kkkroll has got no justice, no peace. Prosecute the police. 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 Indict, convict, send all guys to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Indict, convict, send those killer cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Indict, convict, send those killer cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Say it, indict, convict, send those killer cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Indict, send those killer cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Indict, convict, send those killer cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Black lives, they matter here. I said black lives, they matter here. I said black lives.
matter here. Long lives, they matter here. Come on, more lives, they matter here. Long lives, they matter here. I said more lives, they matter here. Long lives, they matter here. Native lives, they matter here. Native lives, they matter here. I said native lives, they matter here. 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 I said native lives, they matter here. Native lives, they matter here. Disabled 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 lives, they matter here. I said disabled lives, they matter here. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Kkkroll has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Kkkroll has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Kkkroll has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Kkkroll has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Kkkroll has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Kkkroll has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Kkkroll has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Kkkroll has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Kkkroll has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Kkkroll has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Kkkroll has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Kkkroll has got to go. Say his name. 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 Indict, convict, send those killer cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Indict, convict, send those killer cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Indict, convict, send those killer cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Indict, convict, send those killer cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Indict, convict, send those killer cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Indict, convict, send those killer cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Boots, boots, boots on the ground. We here to shut this shit down. Boots, boots, boots on the ground. We here to shut this shit down. Come on, boots, boots, boots on the ground. We here to shut this shit down. Boots, boots, boots on the ground. We here to shut this shit down. Come on, boots, boots, boots on the ground. We here to shut this shit down. Boots, boots, boots on the ground. We here to shut this shit down. I know that we can win. 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 I said I know that we can win. 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 I said I know that we can win. 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 I said I know that we can win. I know that we can win. If George don't get it, shut it down. 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 If Marcus don't get it, shut it down. If Marcus don't get it, shut it down. If Marcus don't get it, shut it down. If Cordell don't get it, shut it down. If Cordell don't get it, shut it down. If
If Brianna don't get it, shut it down. 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 If Brian don't get it, shut it down. I said if Brian don't get it, shut it down. I said if Brian don't get it, shut it down. I said if Brian don't get it, shut it down. Say his name, George Floyd. 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 Come on, Black Lives, they matter here. Black Lives, they matter here. I said Black Lives, they matter here. Black Lives, they matter here. Come on, Black Lives, they matter here. 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 Latin lives, they matter here. Latin lives, they matter here. Said Latin lives, they matter here. 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 I said Latin lives, they matter here. Latin lives, they matter here. Trans lives, they matter here. Trans lives, they matter here. I said trans lives, they matter here. Trans lives, they matter here. I said trans lives, they matter here. Trans lives, they matter here. I said trans lives, they matter here. Trans lives, they matter here. I said Hmong lives, they matter here. I said Hmong lives, they matter here.
Stopping traffic.
I said Hmong lives, they matter here. Hmong lives, they matter here. I said Hmong lives, they matter here. Hmong lives, they matter here. Native 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 lives, they matter here. No justice, no peace. Prosecute the police. 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 Indict, convict, send those killing cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Indict, convict, send those killing cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Indict, convict, send those killing cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Indict, convict, send those killing cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Indict, convict, send those killer cops to jail. The whole damn system. Hell yeah, unicorn riot. Indict, convict, send those killer cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Indict, convict, send those killer cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Indict, convict, send those killer cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Indict, convict, send those killer cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Fuck 12. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Fuck 12. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
So you see the blockades of cars protecting the march. There's in the past White supremacists and other folks have rolled through marches, maybe not believing that Black lives should matter, and they drive through the march. I see people out on the sidewalks of their house. Again, thank you all for joining us, Nico from Unicorn Riot. We're here live in Northeast Minneapolis. It's the second weekend in a row where marches have come to Northeast. Northeast houses the Minneapolis Police Federation. So that's sort of the sentiment throughout the city. Everybody's pretty much in solidarity with what's happening, with wanting some change, wanting some tangible change, wanting the police to possibly be dismantled. A lot of people have different notions as to how that's going to happen, if it's going to happen, what kind of posturing politically city council members doing, if anything. Were they serious? We heard from organizers who said they're going to hold them accountable. Organizers in this march said basically they don't believe it. They don't believe the change will happen. And it's on the people to make that change.
Love your stuff, Nico.
Thanks, man. See, that's the big question. Defund police.
Shut it down! 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 Shut it down!
Right now the chant is if Ahmaud don't get it, Ahmaud Arbery. Breonna Taylor, killed in her sleep by Louisville police officers. Horribly tragic. Oops, sorry. The police on average kill about 1,000 people a year. And that's what's reported. It's most likely much more. If you add in all of the accidents that are caused from police chases, all those such things, Minnesota, according to CUAPB, Communities United Against Police Brutality, who've been putting in decades of work tracking the police and researching the police and policies, they tally 400 plus murders of human beings in the last 20 years in Minnesota. 400 human beings killed by police in 20 years. Over 400 in just one state, Minnesota. So it's a serious issue. A lot of people continue to have a lot of contentious thoughts about police. A lot of people live with the contentious reality of dealing with the police and the institutions of racism born from slavery and genocide. We see in front of us in the distance a boarded up building. We're right there beyond the... There we go, back here. That boarded up building is the Police Federation. That's where Bob Kroll is the president. That's where the office is. Bob Kroll is the president of the Minneapolis Police Federation. He was voted in by his fellow officers. Bob Kroll is an ardent racist. We heard even a couple of instances that he's done earlier in the rally. His list is long. Dozens of complaints. We even heard that Wells Fargo has hired Bob Kroll as security for years. And it was said to put them on blast for their partnership in allowing Bob Kroll to be a police act at an institution where community gathers and collects their money. We heard earlier some chants of solidarity with this building as some Somali families that live in this building join the connection between the Somali folks and the African diaspora.
Say his name! Say his name!
And those in Minnesota, those in America.
Say his name!
We heard Chairman Cruz talking about the descendants of slaves getting some kind of reparation. That discussion still hasn't been had on a nationwide scale. And a lot of people are continuing to say that conversation needs to be had.
Say his name! Say his name! George Floyd! 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 If George don't get it, shut it down! 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 Give it up in July, everybody! Hey, I have a question for you. Whose streets are these? Our streets! Whose streets are these? Our streets! What does democracy look like? This is what democracy looks like! I can't hear you. What does democracy look like? This is what democracy looks like! I'm gonna tell you something right now. They thought we were going home. We ain't going home. They thought we were gonna stop marching. We ain't stopped marching. They thought that we were not coming to a different part of the city. We came to another part of the city. And I'm going to tell you what, and I'm going to see them all day long. The young people of this movement, this is your time to lead us. What we saw on 38th in Chicago was not a movie. It's a reality of America. What we saw there was a tax-paid torture and a televised of a human being in America. And that is a damn shame, but it's a reality of where we are today. But I want to tell you something. Minnesota is not known anymore for being Minnesota nice. We're going to change that. We're going to change that, and we're going to change it to Minnesota justice. We're going to change that, and we're going to call ourselves the new revolution in America, where justice can be realized right here in 612 and every part of this state. And it's going to take every single one of us. It's going to take every single one of us. And I want you to know right now, every single one of you who showed up to this protest, I know your friends list is bigger than the ones you showed up with today. And I'm going to ask you right now, you better be asking your friends, where were you today? What excuse did you have? Because we're going to fill these streets until we get justice for all the lives that have been lost, and we change this damn system from inside to outside. So the first thing I'm going to ask every single one of you is do not show up to another protest by yourself. Bring as many people as possible. I'm going to ask right now a question that I like to ask. If this is your first protest, I want you to put your fist up right now. If this is your first time out here, I want you to put your fist up. And y'all want to tell me something. We see you. We love you. And this is just the beginning of a revolution like this year. And I'm going to tell you, if you did not raise your fist because this is not your first protest, I see you too. And I'm going to tell you, this is our moment. This is our moment. And the people are going to take back what is ours. And that is our government, our way moving forward. And I'm going to tell you something. Bob Kroll
is Bull Connor of our generation. Bob Kroll is another gonna be in the history books. People will be looking back and saying there was a guy named Bob Kroll, but the people came together and got his ass out. Because Bull Connor was the same bullshit we're dealing with. But the people back then in the black and white videos, they stood up against police brutality that we haven't seen yet. All we're doing is standing up to them. But I'm going to tell you, this generation is going to change that. And Minnesota is where it begins. Minnesota is where it begins. To all the people all over the world who are watching us, don't believe that it's not happening in your neighborhood. Don't believe by a minute that there's no Bob Kroll in your community. Don't believe for a moment for politicians who say, wait, we will get there. That's the lie. If you hear wait, that's a lie. Because the people demand justice now by any means necessary. But I'm going to tell you something that all of us need to know. Bob Kroll wasn't elected by a bunch of racist police officers. That is how he got into office. So we're going to clean Bob Kroll and the rest of them out of our city. Out of any idea of what policing is. We're going to get them all out because all of us are going to get him out. We're all going to get him out. We're going to make it uncomfortable for all of the people who kept him in power. We're going to make it uncomfortable for those who think to say to us, wait a minute, there is no more waiting. This generation and this movement has just begun. And we have just started our first ability to flex our muscles. Because I'm going to tell you, the entire city, the entire state needs to show up on these streets. Because this is our streets. These are our neighborhoods. These are our people that are being killed. And we demand justice. We demand justice not just for policing. We demand justice in this entire corrupt system. We demand justice for the entire system. And we must call out. We must call out. And we must fight this idea of violence that this country profits off of. The United States of America sends more military aid to the rest of the world than to anything else. We have spread fear. We have spread violence all over this world, and we are guilty of that. And that is why we see the type of brutality that we see on the streets. The military-grade weapons that these police officers are using against us. The tear gas that you saw, that's military-grade. That is not for civilians. That came back to us because that is what we are allowed to happen in this country. The military-industrial complex, I'm telling you, it's done. It's done. Your days are over. The days are over. We start a new peace movement in this country. A new peace movement in this country. We make a new promise to the world that we are going to change, starting right here on 38th in Chicago, starting right here on the streets of Minneapolis. There's a new day in the world, and this country will no longer shed blood of people all over the country and all over the world. So I'm going to tell you right now, there's a special session that started on today. And I'm going to tell you, every single one of them failed us. Every single one of those politicians failed us. They didn't move on any policy. They never moved on any policy to correct the criminal justice system. But today they're saying they are. I'm going to tell you something. You voted them in. You can vote them out. Call them. Let them know. We demand real change. We demand real change now. No more Band-Aids. No more fake lies. No more ideas. This is the time that we get a complete change at the state level, at the county level, and on the city level. And all the mayors and all the city councils all over the Twin Cities across the state, we're coming for you. Trust me, we are coming for you because your neighbors, the people you thought were not believing Black Lives Matter, they're going to be calling on you. They're going to be showing up to your city council, and they're going to be demanding real change now. And I'm going to tell you something. Some of you don't believe in the voting system. But I'm going to tell you something. If you don't vote, you are part of the problem. And if you voted and you made a mistake, don't make it twice. Don't make it twice. Don't bubble people in who are killing us. Don't bubble people in who are causing harm all over this country and all over the world. This is our moment right now. We politicians have lied to us too far too long. We have to hold them accountable. So this is the moment right now. They expect us, we're not going to show up in November. They expect us, we're not. But I'm going to tell you something. You're going to show up. You're going to bring your friend to show up. And you're going to convince some of your racist people to show up and vote for the right decision as well. So you got to promise to vote. You got to promise to make sure other people vote. I'm going to tell you, there's a group of people in Minneapolis that voted at a large number. And that's the Somali community in Cedar Riverside. They voted 97%. Because their lives at stake. And I'm going to tell you right now, this is a moment right now where if the politics doesn't work for us, we change it all. We change it all. If the politician doesn't have a moral courage, we put somebody else. And I tell this before, and I'm going to tell you again. There's some people right now, in this crowd right now, that have more moral courage to lead us than the corrupt system of politicians that we have right now. So I need some of you to step up. I need some of you to step up because you can get this done better than anybody else. So this is the year. It is a year of an election. It's a powerful moment. And I'm going to tell you, they've done this before. They're going to try to make their own version of the story. But the story that we're going to tell, it is not going to be the same anymore. And by the way, everyone is awake. Everyone is awake. And by the way, we're not only coming for the government, we're also coming for the elite system and the corrupt Hollywood, all of the corruption in the media who created the story of America, who continue to demonize black people of color. We are starting that. And that's not enough. Because for the first time in America, women are alive and well in the movement. The Women's March, get your boots back on. Get your meats back on. This movement is about all of us. And we are under the same oppression that is killing all of us. So if you're a woman and you march, you're going to march today. If you're a peace activist, you're going to march today. And if you've never marched before, trust me, it is sweeter than anything else. It is sweeter than anything else. And you will find yourself in a position to lead, in a position to take us to the next chapter. And for finally, the one thing I want to say is don't lose hope. Don't lose hope, because what we're fighting for is what I personally believe God is asking us to stand for. Start standing for the dignity of human beings. Dignity of human beings. That is what we're fighting for. And we have no better supporter than the creator of all of us. And I deeply believe that if we're in this movement for the right reason, angels are going to come to help us. And we are going to get this thing done. Because in the before, we've seen it before. In the stories, we've seen it. There have been many pharaohs. There have been many evil men in this land before. And guess what they met? They met committed people who were united and had God behind their side. And that is how you can go through mountains. That is how you can cross a river. That is how you can cross the sea. That is how you can do the impossible. When you are together, united for a cause that is right, we can win. We will win. Say with me. We will win. We will win. We will win. We will win. And then also, we are coming. 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 And then finally, the chant that I like the most. By any means necessary. By any means necessary. By any means necessary. By any means necessary. All right, now I'm going to hand it off.
Satara Strong.
Oh, right. Oh, Satara. All right, come on in, sister.
Come on, baby.
Hey. Somebody say, I believe. I believe. I believe. I believe that we will win. 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 That's right. That we will win. That's my place. You all have to be patient with me. I don't do this much. I usually just chant in the streets. I just chant in the streets.
Martin Luther King said, we must accept finite disappointment, but we must never lose infinite hope. And as a black woman, I'm often told that, you know, we must accept things that we cannot change. And I'm here to tell you that black folks are tired. We're tired of that shit. That shit is dead. We're tired of accepting mediocrity. We're tired of being the bigger person. We're tired of being told that justice will have to wait. And most of all, we're tired of motherfuckers like Bob Kroll. Like Bob Kroll being allowed to sit in positions of authority. Somebody say, let them know they got to go. Let them know they got to go.
Let them know they got to go. Let them know they got to go.
That's right.
Let them know they got to go.
And I didn't forget the hope part of that, right? Dr. King mentioned hope. Hope is a wonderful thing. Hope that the system will change and that I might get to be a part of it is what gets me up every morning. But y'all, that's exactly what white supremacists like Bob Kroll try to suppress in this movement. See, the enemy came to steal, kill, and destroy our hope. That's what they've been doing for millennia now. That's why we're determined. Somebody say determination. Determination. Determination is something that Bob Kroll and white supremacy ain't ready for. We're determined to be out here for however long it takes, with our boots on the ground, stomping the pavement. Somebody say stomping the pavement. Stomp that pavement? Right. Not just for George Floyd, not just for Breonna Taylor, not just for Marcus Golden, not just for Jamar Clark, not just for Cordell Handy, not just for Jaffrey Smith, not just for Phil Quinn, not just for Thurman Blevins, Mike Brown, Terrence Franklin, Sandra Bland. Woo, it's a lot, y'all. Terrence Franklin, Brian Canones, Tamir Rice, Alton Sterling, Oscar Grant, Trayvon Martin, and many others. We will not stop stomping the pavement until people have justice for 401 years of slavery. Black folks have dealt with 401 years of slavery and enslavement of our minds and our hearts and our spirits, and we won't stop until we get justice for that and the 528 years of Bob Kroll's ancestors stealing, killing, and destroying indigenous and black folks. Somebody say, hey, hey, ho, ho, Bob Kroll has got to go, hey, hey, ho, ho, Bob Kroll has got to go, hey, hey, ho, ho, Bob Kroll has got to go, hey, hey, ho, ho. That's right. Bob Kroll has got to go. I also have to plug this event. There's an event going on tomorrow. It is called the International Solidarity Day of Protest Against Police Terror. That is tomorrow, Saturday, June 13th at 1 p.m. We'll be there until whenever we feel we're done at the Government Center. So we'll be there tomorrow, Saturday, June 13th at the Government Center at 1 p.m. until we feel like we're done. Amen? Let's give Satara another round of applause. She's an educator, boots on the ground, fierce black woman. Now we're going to have Carl Samagino. She's going to say a couple words about holding white folks accountable, because it does not end here, especially the progressives and the liberals. And then I'm going to close us out with the Assata Shakur check. Let's give Carl a hand.
Thank you, Kyle. I did not come here planning to speak. But as I watch these protests, and I watch the cops rightly being taken down, rightly being held accountable, I, as a white, who's here like a white liberal progressive? Lots of you are. You count yourselves as that, as do I. But if I grew up white in America, it's the water we swim in. We are blind to it. We cannot be blind anymore. We have to see it where it is, right in front of our eyes, in our own hearts. I'd be lying, I'd be a liar if I said I never had a racist thought come into my mind. And I guarantee you everybody here has. It's not intentional. I would never bring it up. but I'd be lying if I said it didn't happen, and we're all a part of that because it's the system. It's intentional, and we have to acknowledge it. I have it in writing from my ancestors' diary. I got 4 acres of land and 2 Negroes, and God blessed me. And then I got 6 acres of land and 4 more Negroes, and God blessed me again. I have it in writing. It's like, it's so painful and raw and disgusting to see it in writing, but that's my ancestors. It's a lot of your ancestors. I want to publicly hold myself accountable to do that work of owning my privilege, owning the racist shit that's happened in my life, and I invite you all to do the same, because if we don't change, the cops won't change. If we don't change, the politicians won't change. So I am so excited about how we cracked open, fucking finally. This is so overdue. Like, seize this moment. Thank you.
All right, let's give Kyle another hand. He's talking to a lot of DFLers out there who have sold us a bunch of lies. Now, we already know about the Republican Party, okay? We already know. But we have to hold, many of us who vote Democrat, we have to hold our own party accountable for what they say they are going to do. Because Minneapolis has been run by Democrats for over 40 years. So how did our police force become one of the most murderous in the country under Democratic rule? We gotta hold them accountable. We gotta call them out on their lies and their inaction. And like we've been saying, enough is enough. 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 Okay, one more chant before the Assata Shakur chant. I'm trying to wait for Chantel, who's supposed to help us, so hopefully she'll be here. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Bob Kroll has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Bob Kroll has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Bob Kroll has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Bob Kroll has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Bob Kroll has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Bob Kroll has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Bob Kroll has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Bob Kroll has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Bob Kroll has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Bob Kroll has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Bob Kroll has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Bob Kroll has got to go. Give these guys a hand. I thought I was going to be tired because we literally have been out here since the day after George Floyd was brutally murdered, y'all. But we got a fire burning in us for justice that just won't quit. We gotta stay out here. We gotta keep marching. We gotta keep demonstrating. We gotta keep holding our elected officials accountable. So I want to thank all of our marshals. Let's give them a hand for guiding us, keeping us safe. I want to thank all the organizers and all the groups who were a part of putting this event all together. I want to thank all of our artists who helped design our banner. Bob Kroll has blood on his hands. Thank you for your handprints, making this happen. Thank you for rocking these t-shirts. Like we said, we're going to stay out here, and that's the tangible thing we can do. We can get Bob Kroll's ass fired from the Minneapolis Police Department. Period. Period. That's our next rallying cry. Get Bob Kroll's ass fired. And Liz Collin of WCCO. For lacking journalistic integrity and ethics. Period. Alright, so I'm going to lead us in the Assata Shakur chant to close us out, y'all. Y'all ready? So repeat after me. It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to win.
It is our duty to win.
We must love and support one another.
We must love and support one another.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to win.
It is our duty to win.
We must love and support one another.
We must love and support one another.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
Now let's make sure that Bob Kroll hears us out in Hugo. Y'all ready for this last time? It is our duty to fight for our freedom!
It is our duty to fight for our freedom!
It is our duty to win!
It is our duty to win!
We must love and support one another!
We must love and support one another!
We have nothing to lose but our chains!
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 All power to the people, y'all. How y'all doing? I'm so glad that you guys are here. I'm so glad that a giant group just showed up to battle Bob Kkkroll. I'm Chantel Allen with Black Lives Matter Twin Cities. So we closed out, but we're going to just rock it out a little bit as we leave. Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Black lives, they matter here.
Black lives, they matter here.
Say Black lives, they matter here.
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 Say Black lives, they matter here.
Black lives, they matter here.
Say Black lives, they matter here.
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 Say Black lives, they matter here.
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 Man, thank you guys so much. The energy was beautiful. We love y'all. Thank you so much. Rally tomorrow at 1.
For all the bikers to take over the streets right now.
All right, so the bikers are going to be at University and
University 19th.
University and 19th to take over the streets. Sounds like bicyclists are about to be riding. Whose streets?
Our streets.
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 All right, y'all. There is another rally tomorrow at 1 o'clock at the Government Center. About Black Lives Minnesota. Police colors. Jahan Cruz. We will all be in effect. So there's also a memorial service at Shiloh Temple on Broadway for George Floyd. Please go pay your respects if you have enough energy. It's happening right now. If you cannot show up, when you get home, light a candle.
All right, as we're heading to our cars, they're going to play some revolutionary music. Thank y'all for joining us. We hope to see y'all tomorrow. 1 o'clock, Government Center.
We're going to talk to Monique Colors Doty in a very moment. Very quick moment. Maybe we'll just like get it instant right there. So if you can talk loud because I don't have the other mic, I have this mic. Okay. Basically, I wanted to ask you, just like give you a moment to just talk about however you want to talk about, but also I wanted to ask you about the push to defund the police. And so where do you think that is going, and how do you think that is? So first, Marcus Golden, your nephew, taken by St. Paul police officers 5 years ago. Tied into that is the office of the Minneapolis Union presidency, which is right here. People came out to 2 times in a row, 2 weeks in a row. People came out to oppose Bob Kroll. Can you just talk about maybe your nephew and then Bob Kroll?
Okay, so my nephew was killed by St. Paul police. He was sitting in his car. Actually, someone who didn't even know him called because they didn't think he should be sitting in his car in the back of a parking lot. Officers showed up on the scene without announcing they were there. Walked up on his car. One had his gun out and slipped on ice. So the eyewitness is saying, like, Marcus never even knew the police were there. So when the officer slipped, his gun went off, his partner started shooting, then they both started shooting. So my nephew was in his vehicle, shot in the back of the head and the back of his arm. And the police just put out a whole bunch of lies and said he tried to run them over. He tried to run over both officers. In the final report, they had to switch it up because it physically wasn't possible. So it's just a bunch of lies, which is what we see consistent with not only the St. Paul Police Department, but also the Minneapolis Police Department and its Police Federation officials like Bob Kkkroll that push the false narratives that the police get out, and they also make sure that if an officer is fired, whether it's really intended to go through to a full termination by the captain, the Federation is right there to make sure that those officers keep their jobs. So really, there is nothing that the officers can do shy of killing Justine DeMond, who is a white woman, by a black officer that will get them fired or have them incarcerated in Minnesota. It doesn't happen, and it also ties into the Post Board, which is in St. Paul. That's the Police Officer Standard and Training Board. They are a bunch of white supremacists and racists in there as well, and so they back the Federation. They are the ones who are supposed to make sure that police have certain types of training, and we've also been there to protest about them not accepting fear-based training, and Minneapolis also had been accepting fear-based training, so that was a big push so that they would not be acceptable, and also that police departments would not pay for fear-based training, because Officer Yanez had also taken fear-based training before he killed Philando Castile. So fear-based training on top of racist police does not help the black community and communities of color at all. So we're here today because Bob Kroll, racist ass, needs to go. He has done too much damage in the community as an officer and too much damage to the community as the Police Federation president. His policies align with white supremacist values. He has been tied to white supremacist organizations and the Iowa supremacist biker group as well. So this is not someone who is about equity. He's not for the people moving forward, and he's definitely not for having any police held accountable for whatever they may do. Yeah. So we're here.
So he didn't he call some of the killer cops heroes?
Oh, he's called killer cops heroes, which definitely sides with white supremacist theories. Like, you're taking a black man, these white supremacists are celebrating that. And that's what he's doing by calling officers killer cops heroes, not doing anything to advocate for justice for the families, no sense of the police needing to be reeled in or to be corrected, to be terminated, to be imprisoned, to be retrained. None of that, which I don't believe you can retrain the police, because a racist is a racist and a killer cop's going to be a killer cop. And practice makes permanent. So that's practice all their life. So I don't believe in that. Actually, I'm a police abolitionist. So let's take it right there. I don't believe in the police system. The entire system has got to go. It's not something that can be manipulated into serving us properly or correctly. It's like having a Model T car and expecting it to fly. Like, you can drive it off a cliff and it might be airborne, but it's not going to fly. No matter how you can reconfigure the car to the Model T, it's only going to be a car, and you cannot get it to truly fly. And that's like the police system. We can try and manipulate it and adjust it, but it's never going to give the people the true protection that people need. So it's got to be completely torn down, and we need something else in place that does not include white supremacist ideology, white supremacist people, and capitalism.
So that idea, like, reached a fever pitch last week where 9 city council members in Minneapolis said that they vowed to dismantle the Minneapolis Police Department. Immediately there was sort of rollback in their conversation about it. What do you have to say about that? I know you just said you're a police abolitionist, and I would like to know your ideas as a police-free future, but also what do you have to say about, like, what is your thoughts around what happened last weekend?
Well, I think when people say that, especially elected officials, they really need to frame that conversation around how it works. So I'm not sure how they're using the term police abolitionist, because that's a whole flip side of what we've seen from the city council. So I don't know if they're using that as a catchphrase, or they really understand that, yes, we can have a world without police. You know, what's the book? Is it I Dream in Color, A World Without Police? Yes, if you can't dream it, though, you'll never believe it. So you have to give people a foundation to see. People are reliant on police because the system was created around the police. If you have a car accident, over $700 worth of damage, you're supposed to call who? The police. Because the system is written like that. The insurance wants a report from the police. If your house is broken into, if you want to make an insurance claim, they want a police report. But that can be done without police. We can have mental health crisis addressed without the police, with people who are mental health experts who actually care about people. We can have that. But it's that the police system has been woven into the DNA of America that people think we can't live without police. And people say, well, who are you going to call when you need help? I'm not calling the police. Fuck the police. I'll just figure it out my damn self. And that's what I did. I had someone in my yard. I'm like, let me grab a bat, let me grab whatever it is. I'm about to hold it down in my house because I'm not calling the police to my house. You know? So when you understand that you can't rely on the police, that you can't trust the police, that the police are targeting people in our community, that the police are using paid informants to work and tear down the community while they still talk about we want to rebuild community trust. There should never be community trust. That's like telling the hens to trust the fox, and we're going to put the fox in charge of the hen house. It doesn't work, because bottom line, the same police who are trying to take a knee in St. Paul with us turned around and arrested 64 protesters. How do you take a knee and turn around and then turn arrest people? It's disingenuous. And it's a disingenuous system of policing. So it's got to be torn down. Just like capitalism, it is a part of capitalism. Capitalism will always put profit before people. That's why corporations can run America. That's why we saw here the Super Bowl could come here, run people out of homeless shelters, shut down everything for a gain, regardless of how it impacted the homeless community, regardless how it impacted people who worked in the hospitals who needed parking. Everything sways when capitalists, when money, when investors, or when Hollywood comes into play. So part of the police myth we see portrayed in Hollywood, because Hollywood has contracts, right, to show the military and to show police as those coming to the aid in films and movies. That's been going on for many years. So it also ties into Hollywood. It ties in to the programming that we see, cops, all these CSI and these other unsolved mystery shows. That's not how policing works. When they get those people in there, in those rooms, and they're like, oh, putting all the pieces together. No, they have our black children in there, tormenting them, denying them legal representation, forcing confessions out of them after not allowing them to drink, to use the restroom, to eat, to see their parents. There is so much corruption that's in the police department. When you see these programming, these pro-police shows, programs where those generations of police and they're all working together, that's just promoting, that's police propaganda. And we have to push back against that. Those programs shouldn't be on, but that's the Hollywood influence that people sit and they watch these programs and they think the police are everybody's friend. That might work for some people, but the people that I know, it doesn't work.
Thank you for all that. Quick question. police-free future. You sort of touched on some of it. What is an alternative?
So, a police-free future also ties into, that's revolutionary, right? So it's people waking up to realize we have two-party system, basically. The Democrats, Republicans, they're both capitalists. What have they done for us? They have watched our people die in the street. And so now, after George Floyd, they're talking about introducing legislation. But we understand that if people who cared, who had an interest, it would have been done already. And that ties into capitalists, that ties into the entire system that allows the rich and the wealthy to profit off the pain and the suffering of the poor. That's why you can have heads of corporations making $50 million a year while the people who are flipping the burgers don't make a livable wage, right? It's not sharing, it's the rich taking more than they need. And so therefore with the police are a part of that, because the police protect what? They would protect property. That's why you saw the military called out to protect property. And the police are not here for us. So in terms of making, how does that look? That's tearing down a whole system. That's going to take a whole lot of education, right? And it's not just about, oh, black people or white people, because there's a lot of white people who get it and a lot of black people who don't. So really it's about educating and talking to people like, hey, look how capitalism affects our lives everywhere. This is why when there's a concert coming to town, why do you have Ticket King selling tickets at 4, 5, and 6 times the rate? There is no need. That's capitalism. They're profiting off of people's suffering and pain, or people not having an opportunity to get something. And what is it? It's taking more than you need to benefit you and hurt others, right? Capitalism. That's why when you're on the freeway, you can say, oh, a pay lane, where you can pay, but maybe you don't have money to pay. So why should it take you more time to get to work because you don't have money to pay for an express lane? That is something made to cater to people with money, right? And we see it everywhere, so we have to start seeing capitalism. Why at the airport, if you can afford a ticket that's first class, now your time is more valuable because you don't have to wait. You can come at the last minute. Or you can, so it's systems in place that give people with money and wealth advantages that cause other people to fall further behind in the different things that they can do in life, and it's not recognizing the struggles of the people who are living in lack, right? So the police tie into all of that because the police serve that system of capitalism, and the military as well, because the military is what? Military is really a means for the manufacturers of weapons to get rich and all their stockholders to get rich. So when we tear down that system of capitalism, we begin to educate people, see how capitalism is affecting you, you know? And then you realize, okay, this really isn't working, because I don't take more than I need. I'm not going to buy 10 tickets to a concert and turn around and sell 8 of them. I need 2, I'm taking 2. If I have 2 extra, I'll sell it at price, face price. I'm not trying to profit because I didn't put in the work to create that ticket or anything. But it's about seeing how people take advantage of situations, and it's greed. And it's the police, it's the greed, taking advantage of situations, taking advantage of their badges. While we have 54 in office, someone who's in favor, and definitely a white supremacist, promoting basically the police agenda, saying police, the only thing wrong with policing is they don't have enough power. Obviously, he wants more of us killed. That's what it's saying in advance. So basically, there's no way to separate greed from capitalism. There's no way to separate white supremacy from capitalism. It's about going back. It's about truth-telling, starting with the indigenous people and their experience, truth-telling about enslavement in America, truth-telling about the wars that the United States has created, truth-telling why we had to bring people here, and people were not taught about why we had immigrants here, because America fucked up their country or started a war, and now they come here and they're treated like crap and experience racism because of America. It's a lot about truth-telling and getting down to the nitty-gritty about who America is, what America is done, and owning up to that, and then creating systems in which every person is incorporated and included, in which white supremacy does not have a voice.
Thank you. Anything else you want to say?
Nico, Unicorn Riot, I love you. I love you guys. You're amazing. Thank you for being out here.
Oh, you ready for me?
I'm gonna close it out in a minute. You wanna talk? You just okay. Getting ready. So you had some words. You had some words about the police today. You had some words about Bob Kroll, whose office is right behind us. Can you talk about a touching or a specific topic that's continuing to happen? Is this fever pitch of abolishing the police or dismantling the police? We heard that here locally last weekend. Do you have hope that could happen? If it does, what is your idea of a police-free future?
I wish they just disband guns altogether. I really do. I wish they get rid of them, because those are the uniforms behind the evil. And guns don't kill us; they pull the trigger and kill us with the guns. In a perfect world, that would be wonderful, and that would be the hope that our children would be able to live and be able to breathe and not take breaths. Bob Kroll has done such a rotten job of caring about the people who pay him his salary. He would rather put murderous cops back on the streets than to care about the people. And then they continue to kill and kill and kill over again. Derek Chauvin, let's be clear, he should have been gone. This is not his first time in the rodeo. This is not his first shootout at the old Kkkroll. He's had 3 shootouts. And this one was very deadly, and he didn't care if we watched. He allowed us to see it. He allowed us to see him kneel on the man's neck, put his hands in his pocket, and placed his knee in his neck very comfortably. And as the bystanders were hollering and trying to help get up off his neck, he continued to just apply more pressure. Like I'm gonna show you all. The look in his eyes was like, today there will be a death of a black man, and clearly there was a death of a black man. That man was dead when he was on the ground. I don't want to hear bullshit about, the hospital said after he arrived, he was dead. That's bullshit. He was dead when he was on the ground. The man kept saying, I can't breathe. When he couldn't say no more, that's when he was dead. Dead people don't talk. We didn't hear George Floyd talking. So that within itself told me he was dead. They need to disarm them, disband, and they need to get rid of the corrupt policemen. And the ones that don't say nothing and stand by and look, they need to get rid of them too, because they're just as guilty. Again, had one of them pushed him, knocked his ass off, George Floyd, he'd still be here. You know who they helped? They helped the one who was not in fear for his life, the one whose life was not being threatened, the one who was committing the murderous crime that we see. That's who they helped. That's inhumane. Animals. They need to go.
Do you have faith that they'll be convicted?
They better be convicted. They better have faith that they'll be able to survive what they have to withstand. They better be convicted. Because this shit that you seeing here, this ain't nothing. This ain't nothing. Minnesota better make the right decision. The right one. I'm not in favor of burning things down and looting. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying, this atrocity and this tragedy is what brought it all on. Those buildings could have still been standing. But so could George Floyd, had Derek Chauvin and the other 3 bullies had not killed them. Buildings would have been standing, George Floyd would have been standing, walking around having life. My child would be standing, Cordell Handy, Marcus Golden, Terrence Flakins, Jamar Clark, Justin Tigan, Gary Gray Hopkins, Sandra Bland, Tamir Rice, they could have been standing. Trayvon Martin, they could have been standing. And the buildings that will get replaced, as I said. They'll come back, but our children is not going to resurrect from the dead. That ain't happening. That ain't happening. Whatever society or the community took from them, they will get it all back. But what's taken from us, we will never get back. Irreplaceable. Money couldn't even buy them back. So yes, I would like to see the whole police force defunded. And I think that anybody that allow them to do security work or any type of services for them, they need to get rid of them. They need to get rid of them. Hire the people. Hire the human beings and not the animals. You know, the tragedy is not so much, I don't see it a whole lot in bars and in restaurants. I don't see a lot of killings of the community killing each other. I see a lot of the police killing the community. And every time they approach a black or a brown person, that is up to always result in death. And you know when we will always remember Emmett Till. 90 years ago? And then it can go back to 400 years ago. And as I said before, black people have told the truth. They've always told the truth about white supremacists, these supreme demons, because that's all they are. Let's just be clear. And people are worried about the community and what's going to happen and how it will end. Well, we want it to end well, and we would like to end it with a peaceful resolve. But guess what? They hold the cards. And we're just going to keep our boots on the ground. You know, it's sad. It's a sad day when black people, we're given a pair of dice they're crooked from the day they handed to us. And actually, every time we roll them, we crap the fuck out. Why? Why? Because we want to be in our house and be black. We want to jog and be black. We want to listen to music and be black. We just want to be black. And we should not be denied the right to be who God created us. We can't be anyone or anything or anybody else but black, but brown, but indigenous. You know, again, our skin is not our sin, but people treat us like, oh, well, that's the sin. They're thugs. They're gangbangers. No, we're not. The gangbangers are the ones that you all patronize. They're the ones in the blue uniforms. And it's a fine line between a cop and a criminal, right? And we're seeing that with Derek Chauvin and the other three. We're seeing that. Muhammad Noor wasn't the only crooked cop. Do you know how many have came into these precincts, retired, and still sitting at home with blood dripping off their hands? You can't even wash the blood away. But what we will rely on and what we will depend on and lean on is the blood of Jesus. That's what we will rely, depend, and lean on. It will never change. It will never fail. Power's in God's hand. And we're going to claim that. And we're going to claim victory. And we're going to speak the things that are not as though they were. We're speaking victory. And I heard Jelani said that Minnesota's going to change their name to Minnesota Justice. I say change it to Minnesota Justice. Minnesota Justice, because we're going to bring it. And nothing less. And we're going to bring it by any means necessary. We're not going to stand back and wait for them to give us anything. Our boots is on the ground, and we'll continue by any means necessary to keep marching to that justice, keep swimming to that justice, keep running to that justice, keep talking to that justice. Speak it into your existence, because justice is on the way.
Thank you. Miss Kim Handy Jones.
Hey, people at home, keep your boots on the ground. Keep marching. Keep praying. Don't ever give up. Don't ever give in. Because remember, Every breath you, your child, and your loved one take matters. George Floyd breath matter. And because George Floyd couldn't breathe, they wouldn't allow him to breathe. That was a fortune that was denied to him, but it is a fortune that we have today. We get to take those breaths because they denied him the right to breathe. So long as we got breath, keep your boots on the ground. People, I love you. This is Auntie Kim. I'll be back at you.
So you just heard from Miss Kim Haney Jones and Monique Cullors Doty. Both had lost family members, very close family members, to the police. Specifically, Kim Haney Jones lost her son, Cordell Handy, and Monique Cullors Doty lost her nephew, Marcus Golden. If you want to know more about those instances, we have a lot of coverage on that. UnicornRiot.ninja. Go to the police tab of categories. Again, this is Nico from Unicorn Riot. We are going to bring the stream down from in front of the Minneapolis Police and Fire Union offices over northeast Minneapolis. It was a march of about 1,000 people, and the march, it was a rally and then a march. The march went about in a circle over northeast and came back. So right now people have left some remembrances, some signs, some words up on this fence of the newly all the way boarded up building. So again, thank you all. Thanks, Chris, for running the back end. Thank you all for joining. Thanks for the amazing amount of support that we've got and love and donations. We are a 501c3 educational nonprofit, horizontally organized, with no bosses. And we're here to bring you all coverage from the streets as well as contextual information regarding social and environmental struggles and investigations. So again, thank you all for joining. This is Nico from Unicorn Riot. We're going to take the stream down. Have a good night. We'll see you all someday soon. There's protests tomorrow here in the Minneapolis Twin Cities area. There's still people gathering at the vigil site. We'll do our best to keep you all in tune as to any new happenings. All right, you all. Peace.
What's up, bro? Hey, how you doing? Nice action. Yes, sir.